Yep, it's about that time. About that time to start. Start it up. Tonight's gonna be good. I'm pumped. Neff, hey, a butter pecan. You've added to the flavors. Look, I've already got to add to it. I just added it in because I thought it was kind of fun. I wanted to see what everybody's ice cream flavors, or favorite ice cream flavors were. Mine is the butterscotch, so that's the first one on the list. My grandmother, actually, who raised me, was a candy maker for 25 years. And she, obviously she worked from, well, not obviously, but she worked from home. And, us kids would help her out. It was me and my second oldest sister. I'm the oldest of six. My second oldest sister would help, make the candy, wrap it up and, put the labels on it. And, as we got older, we'd kind of help pour some of the chocolate. So it was fun, right? But we had access to like boxes. I'm talking like 25-pound boxes of like chocolate, butterscotch, mint, and vanilla, and you name it, we had it, right? Butterscotch was my favorite, though. I'd sneak into that thing all the time. Just little chips of butterscotch. Oh, man. So, still, to this day, favorite ice cream flavor. So now we got to add to the list. All right. We got to add to it butterscotch and butter pecan, which was her favorite flavor of ice cream. So that is funny. All righty. I love me some butterscotch, but butter pecan, man. I used to not like butter pecan, and I think it was because it was grandma's favorite flavor, Like, that's her favorite flavor. It can't be my favorite flavor. And then I associated it to, like, the old people ice cream flavor, because they were my grandparents. They were older, right? But I have grown to appreciate it as I've gotten older. Wait a minute. I'm just kidding. It's a good flavor. It's grown on me. I like me some butter pecan in preferably a waffle cone. I like it in the waffle cone. Butterscotch, I'll just eat like out of the cup. I don't need a cone. Don't need a sugar cone, waffle cone, whatever cone. I'll eat it in there. I'm not picky. But I prefer it in the bowl because I like to savor the flavor. So I recently got I was born old. I just saw that. Well, some of us were. Benjamin Button, I just got one of those Ninja Creamies. And man, that has changed my ice cream life. So I can't have as much sugar anymore because, I got to show off my shirt. I tried to find the one with Wilford Brimley and the cowboy hat. That's the one I really wanted, but they didn't have the eat your damn oatmeal diabetes on it. So I got that one. It's funny to me. As a sufferer of the diabetes, I have to cut down on the sugar. So got myself a Ninja Creamy, and I've been making zero sugar, or as close to it as I can. I try to use almond milk to make it zero sugar soft serve ice cream, and the recipes that are out there for this thing, amazing. So good. And I can have ice cream again. It's fantastic. Butterscotch rounds our old people candy, and I'll fight somebody over a Werther's. I love Werther's. Werther's Original. And yes, that is an old person candy. That's you go over to Grandma and Grandpa's house, and Grandpa's like, "Do you want a piece of candy?" And you know it's a butterscotch round. You know it. Or a peppermint. A peppermint too, I can kind of equate to Grandpa's candy. He used to smoke a peppermint tobacco out of his pipe. So like peppermint is also kind of old manish to me. That and Old Spice, because Old Spice, right? It's just old man. Or barbershop. One or the other. Really hard to find a good barber these days, too, with the straight razor and everything. I'm digressing. Let's get into what we're going to be doing today. Today, we're going to be auditioning for an audio book. And then after that, if I feel up to it and if the voice is still intact, we'll be doing a little bit of voice acting for an audio drama. I play a reoccurring character. His name is Papa Arkell on the Kingery by Pendant Audio. And they put out contemporary audio dramas. They have a whole bunch underneath their wheelhouse, as it were, their publishing house, whatever you want to call it, studio. I don't know. But Pendant Audio puts out a whole bunch of stuff. I've done various projects for them in the past too. Like they had a Shakespeare thing, which I figured out after doing that one Shakespeare audio drama. I hate trying to do Shakespeare because they speak different. I don't like it. It took me forever just to get the lines in because old Bill had to be tricky with them prose, and it's very hard to read out loud. I like reading it. I like reading it out loud, and acting to it. It's difficult. It's outside, or at least at the time, it's outside my comfort zone. So you got to do that stuff to get better, right? Just figured out I really don't like it. I'll do other stuff to be outside of my comfort zone. Ugh. Not like in the acting in Shakespeare, but they have a whole bunch of different projects. Check them out. They're really good writers there, and really good cast too, especially for the Kingery. And it's a sci-fi kind of filled with drama. It's an audio drama, so it's filled with drama, that's for sure. And Papa Arkell, my character, is the dad to a particular character. And I almost don't want to say who he is the dad of because that kind of spoils some plot points. So I won't say. But he is a father to a certain main character. And even that's kind of spoilery. A couple of main characters, kind of, but not really, but kind of. And he is a bad man. He is not a nice man. He has some redeeming qualities. Don't get me wrong. Which is why it makes him interesting and why I've been playing him for like 4 or 5 years. So maybe we'll do that. And we'll get more into it, and maybe I'll explain more if we get to that part. But first, we're going to do the audition thing and get this thing cranked out, do the research live, do the read, and maybe it'll be interesting. We'll hang out. We'll have fun. I love those too. I just did the VO for a fake Grindhouse trailer one of my friends made for a video editing contest. You were talking about that on, I think it was yesterday, wasn't it, on your stream? That sounds super cool. I like me some Grindhouse stuff. So let me know what that is. Like, I think I have links turned on. So if you have a link to it, or just tell me where I can find it, I'll go search for that. So, and today the adult beverage. It's not Whiskey Wednesday. But I have the transitions up for Whiskey Wednesday, so I felt like I have to have a whiskey. But it's actually a bourbon, Long Branch, which is a Southern Comfort thing, but it's like I don't know if it's a premium, but it's an offshoot from. Anyways, it's good. So that's what I'm having. Tasty. Ooh, the bourbony burns. As soon as it's live, I'll be sharing it everywhere. I'd like to win the contest after all. Oh, that's right. You were talking about, probably my memory is garbage. Oh, that was before that. Yeah, you were talking about that. There's a contest that goes along with it. Is it like one where you have to like go in and like vote for your favorite one and like a list of things? Is it one of those? What is the contest? I'm interested. I didn't get to catch it all because I was like doing other stuff at the same time. And then I think I was getting ready for bed. So it might have also been in and out of sleep during part of it. I can't remember what part of it you were talking about it. Yeah, it's called Edit Fest, I think. Oh, that's cool. You'll have to tell me more. All I know is that Sulu said we can't show off the trailer until the 15th. Oh, okay. It's one of those keep it under wraps until the 15th. Got it. So I won't bug you anymore about it. And I know you'll spread it out when it comes the time. And I want to hear it. Because you're making it sound super interesting, like the voice, and then you were demonstrating kind of how I was super intrigued, super interested. So I will definitely listen to it, and I will definitely vote for it when it comes time, if I can. If it's open to the general public, as it were, to vote for it, I will vote for it. All right. So what I think I will do is switch over. Oh, I do, before I forget, if you ever get the chance to try Yamazaki, I think I said that right, I endorse this. It's hilariously expensive, but it's amazing whiskey. It sounds like a Japanese whiskey, and I do like me some Japanese whiskeys. Not all of them. I've had one or two that I've been like, nope, they didn't get that one right. But that's any kind of whiskey or scotch or bourbon, really. Some of them are just not what I prefer. But yeah, okay, so Japanese. Okay. I do like Japanese whiskeys. I had it like 6 years ago. It was $25 a shot. Ha! Ouch. I've had one that was $50 a shot of it. And it was at this place called De Vere's, I think, in downtown Sacramento. And that it was like an Irish pub, and they had a Whiskey Wednesday. I wonder where I got that idea from for the name. And you could go in and just try samplers of whiskey. And the cool thing was, this whiskey was $50 a shot, but not on Whiskey Wednesday. If you got particular whiskeys or scotches within this range, the whole flight of whatever they were, I think it was 5 of them, was $50. So it was like 10 a piece, right? So obviously I'm going to try the really expensive one in there. And then we tried some interesting like coffee infused whiskeys, and it was interesting. But I didn't like it. So I don't think that with money comes better flavor necessarily, but sometimes it does. Like if you want like a really pronounced flavor that you really enjoy in a certain brand, sometimes their top ends are even more of that. And it's even better. Like the higher ends of like, if you like Ardbeg, Scotch, it's very, very distinct, and kind of some of their higher ends are even more distinct in kind of that flavor. I think it's I was going to say it's an Isla, but I don't think it's an Isla whiskey. It might be an Isla whiskey. Scotch. I can't remember. But anyways, sometimes it keeps true to the higher the price, the better, but not always. I thought I bought 2 shots. Okay, because I was informed that the flavor journey was different on ice. Yes, and it was very different cold. Absolutely. Good both ways. Yeah. Yamazaki had very little burn, lots of woody, chocolatey, smoky caramel. Say less. I'm in. But if it's $50 a shot, it'll probably be a shot. I don't think I'm going to be able to afford a bottle of that. But it sounds amazing. Chocolatey, smoky, woody. Newsy girl, hello. Hey, how's it going? Hopefully your stream went well. I didn't get to watch the end of it. I had to go do things, adult things, gotta go pick up the kiddo, gotta, do this, gotta do that. But I saw you were plugging away there. Hopefully you got pretty far on your writing. Are you doing you're doing the October thing too, right? Where you're writing so many words for that challenge, I think, if I remember right. I had to try it both ways. Well, yeah, absolutely. You have to try it both ways because it is different. Because if you think about it, the way that's, I know way too much. I used to have an alcohol, and we specifically really dove deep into Scotch, so I know way too much about it, and I'll spare you most of the details. But basically, the way that they distill it and age it, and proof it, and the whole process, right? It has oils and stuff that are kind of incorporated, from the barrel and the different things that go into that distillation process. And when you put water in it, water and oil don't mix and they separate, right? So even if you put a couple drops of water in, it'll separate the oil and the other elements in it, the water from the liquor there, right? And in your Scotch, and you'll get different aromas and flavors. And then when you cool it down, your taste buds kind of tone down certain things. They're not able to pick up certain flavors. And one of those things that gets toned down, one of those flavors that gets toned down is that alcohol-y type of burn, right? So with a stronger proof liquor, like a Scotch, up there in the 48 percentage, putting like in like some whiskey stones or some ice in it, that's going to cool it down, and you're not going to taste some of that harshness up front. A lot of the things that they say that you can taste in Scotch is like, oh, I taste, leather and tobacco, which sounds horrible to me. I don't want to taste tobacco or leather necessarily, but that's your thing. Great. But like the aromas of it, I can get sometimes, but the more you drink of it, the more you'll be able to taste some of those flavors, because naturally over time, your tongue kind of does this thing where it like calluses, not a real callus, but it gets kind of immune to that alcohol-y type of burn, and you start to be able to taste more of these flavors. So now, long story short, drink more, you'll taste more, which I don't know if that would be like a Surgeon General warning that you'd want to put out there, but it works, I guess. Doing good. And it went okay. It wasn't long. And you're not doing the October thing. Not really, I think is what you're responding to. And then yes, and I'm behind on chat, so I'm not sure where the yes is, but hopefully you had a good stream. It sounds like you did. All right, and I'm all caught up on chat. So yeah, today, oh, and before I forget, let me put out there, because I was going to put this out, and I already forgot to do it. To put out the art thing, the featured artist is that way. I'll get used to this one day, I swear. Delilah Moore on Instagrams. That's where you can find her stuff. She does art for book covers, Twitch streams, and just general digital art. She's very talented. Check out her stuff if you're, well, you just want to look at some stuff on Instagram that's pretty cool, or if you want to pick up a commission. Great person to check out there. I like to bring the, you know, the authors and the artists together if I can, and just feature them up there for free. So if you know an artist that I should reach out to, and I have a couple, thanks to you actually, Nev, that would like to be featured on a Whiskey Wednesday, let me know, and I'll toss them up there. I'm doing October and not really on stream. Oh, okay, I gotcha. So you're doing the October, but not really like on stream focusing on it. Gotcha. So you must have lots of writing time, and that's super cool. Like, if I, like today, streaming the audition for the audiobook, that's my time in the booth. I wouldn't really have time outside of it to get that in there. So that's awesome you have that opportunity. I would, see, that's one thing that if they sold in the store, immediately I'd be broke. It's time. I would buy tons of time. You know, like that movie with, what's his name? Justin Timberlake, where they have the counter. Like I'd be that guy. Just broke, running out of time. Be that guy. I get distracted. I do too, can you tell? I've digressed hundreds of times from getting to this audiobook thing. But I might stream a little right now. Oh, well, good. Well, good luck on your stream if you hop in there, and nice talking to you. I got some things up on the channel too that I just programmed in today. My phone distracts me. Distracts me too, and that's why I just have it on my chat for the stream, so I can't be distracted by anything else other than the chat. That's it. And I can be distracted by chat because that's talking to you, and I like talking to you. So yes, we're gonna. I can't even remember what I was saying. But I plugged in some things to the chat, so the flub command should work now. All right, so let's test it out. If you type in flub, boom, it added it to it. See, there we go. Now I'm gonna reset it, but I haven't messed up yet. I'll have plenty of those. Don't worry. I'll have plenty of those. It's gonna be okay. I'll have plenty. But the flub command works. I got in the ice cream thing in there that pops up there randomly. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? I'd like to know because I'm a curious person. I want to know. Mine's butterscotch. We had Neff's with butter pecan. And what's yours? We got to know. And some other things that are kind of in there. Oh, right there. See? It popped up in the channel. Say hi. And what's your favorite ice cream flavor? Because I want to know. Tell me. And I listed out some more of the commands down below. And if you have any ideas for some commands, let me know. I'll add them in there. It's kind of fun. Now that I've figured out how to do it. I have to resist the urge of adding in 800 of them. Oh, I got to get Saribot up too. Or Saribot. I got to get that going because of the bots, you know, the scam bots. So don't click on any links that are in the chat that look kind of weird, right? Get viewers here, click here for cool pics. Don't do that today. I'm going to try to block them as I see them, if they don't get blocked. Anyways, so auditioning. First up, auditioning for an audiobook. Second up, hopefully, if my voice lasts, we'll be doing some voice acting for an audio drama. So first up, we're going to do the audiobook audition. Let's read a little bit about the title. How's the music, by the way? Is it too loud if you're still there and listening? Hopefully it's not. It's loud in my ears, but I think it actually comes across a little lower to you. I got to figure out a way for you guys to listen and me not listen because it's distracting as hell. But about the book. So the book is called The Second Bride, the Wanderer series, book 2. So there was already a book 1, and it was done by a previous narrator, of which I'll talk a little bit about here later if I can remember. But let's jump into seeing what this book is about, the second one in the series here. And it's a 5-part series is what the author said. So, the book is about a series of murders brings Salem Kane back to the little town in Missouri, only 3 months after closing 2 separate cases there. This time, a number of men who have gone missing over the course of several months are discovered in mass grave, completely drained of bodily fluid and appearing to have aged 60 to 80 years upon their death. Salem knows only one creature that could have done this, a succubus. But not just any succubus, but one that he once had a personal relationship and just happens to be the second bride of Samael, otherwise known as Lucifer. Okay. The second bride has a secret. She's in love with Salem and is willing to renounce her bond with Samael if the Wanderer will have her. Samael has a secret as well. He has resurrected his first bride and will stop at nothing to restore the balance and bring back the race of vampires upon the earthly plane. In the second book of the Wanderer series, this one, Salem must battle princes of hell, the king of hell, and come to terms with the fact that he is in love with a creature that he believed was incapable of love. Ugh. All right. Sounds creepy, but I like it. So we're going to jump into this. The author gave me some notes about the characters, which normally they don't do. They just kind of, at least on ACX, this is from ACX. I recently updated my voice demos on ACX for my narrator profile, and apparently he was searching through and found my demos that I just updated and went, "Hey, I like your voice. I think you'd be perfect for my book. Audition for it, please." He reached out to me, which is, it's actually kind of a first for me. So I'll take it. If only they would all work that way, right? So he left me some notes, which is cool, about each character and the kind of voice that he's envisioning them having. So I don't know if I'll be able to nail every single one of them, but I'll try to get as close as I possibly can to each one so that while we're doing the audition, he's hearing what he wants to hear, right? Or as close to it as we can get, right? Which is cool. So maybe I'll hop over into the booth and we'll kind of go through what that is and then jump into the audition, as it were. So join me. I'll pop over there. Sounds all right to me. Okay, cool. Good. All right. I'll pop over in the booth. I'll be there in just a second. I'm bringing it with me. Oh, boy. I turned this one up too, so hopefully today it's a little louder. I'm bringing the scotch in the booth, or the bourbon in the booth, because it's been one of them days. You know what I mean? All right. And of course, the iPad went to sleep. That's fine. Oh, that means it probably disconnected my session. All right. I might have to hop back over to the desk real quick, but it'll be quick, I swear. I promise, mate. All right, let's see here. Yeah, it ended my session. Poopy. All right. Let me do that on here first. Here. Do it. Oh, it did. Look at that. All right, cool. Cool. Hey, something worked right the first time. What do you know? It's going to be a good day. Evening. Okay, and then it blacked out. What happened here? Oh, no. All right, well, here. Let me put my phone up here. Oh, did my stream stop? Oh, you know what? I know what happened. Maybe you're hearing me. Maybe not. But I know what happened. It's resetting all of my desktop's resolutions because it's thinking it's logging in for the first time again. Oh, man. All right. Hold on. Hold the phone. I know how to fix it. Give me a second here. I promise it'll be better. I'll be right back. Technical difficulties. All right, what we'll do is we'll just do this. There we go. We actually aren't going anywhere, but I gotta fix this, and you guys are probably gonna see some weird jankiness if I don't do it. So give me just a moment here. Sorry, guys. Sorry, y'all. Gotta fix this right here. Gotta do one of them numbers right there. I wonder why it timed me out. That is odd. Oh, there we go. Keep that change. Now I have to change the others. Okay, that's that one. It's all like my pre-stream setup that I've already done. But now I gotta do it again. It's my fault for making it more complicated, right? Yep. Okay, one more. And then we'll be set and ready to go. Alright, there. It's weird because I'm actually logging into my main computer through an iPad. And the software, when you connect, wants to default everything to the iPad's resolution. Which on my desktop squeezes everything into like a really, really big window. But a very small resolution, if you can imagine that. So, alright, now we should be set. I think we're okay now. No. Keep the changes. Okay. Alright. I think we're good. Alright. Let's go back to the booth. Okay. Alright. Boom diddy boom boom. Alright, and then I gotta bring this back up. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Now we're making progress. Alright. Okay. Alright, back to the booth. Here we go. Alright. You know, I just realized that when we record, I'm not going to be able to hear myself unless I throw on yet another pair of headphones. So that's going to look really weird for you, and it's going to be awkward for me. But we're going to do it. Because that's what we do. All right. Okay, this looks like it's all working still. Ooh, don't knock over the scotch. Party foul. Don't do that. All right, does this still work? Oh, it does. Sweet. So I can do this instead. Oh, yes. All right. Hooked up a wireless, like a Bluetooth mouse to the iPad. Oh, sweet. So I can scroll. Awesome. All right. Now we're cooking with gas. I'm going to get a drink of water real quick. All right. Go. Wonder how far behind the stream actually is. So I'm seeing myself in the past. Ugh. How's the microphone coming through tonight? Is it plenty loud enough? Hopefully it is. Hopefully you're hearing me here. I'd take a listen to myself here real quick. Okay, so I'm coming through. Good. All right, let's get into it. So, in this particular audiobook, we have our characters here that I said, wrong mouse. That I said the rights holder, the author, actually left for me. So we're going to read a little bit about each one of these characters here that he outlined and what accent they would like. Normally, what we do, if we're doing the full-on audiobook, is go through, say each character's name, and then just like a sentence or two in the voice that we're going to use for each character. And then we'll just save that little snippet as a little audio file on the computer that you can always play back and listen to. With audiobooks that have several characters in them, and even audiobooks with a few characters, but that don't have or reoccur, I guess, very often, it's important to kind of have some way to reference quickly what those characters sound like and what voices you're doing for them and the general demeanor that they have. That way, when you're portraying their voice later on the road, maybe you haven't used their voice in 4 chapters and maybe it's been a day in between and you can't quite remember what you did. You don't have to go back and play everything to catch up and figure out what you did, right? So kind of the technique that I've developed, and other people too, it's not a unique thing, is that you record just a little snippet of their voice and then you can play it back for yourself. I'm probably not going to do that on here because it's pretty short. It's only like, I think the whole thing is like 11 pages long. And that's with this little part inserted here at the top. So don't think we'll need it. I say that now and then I'll forget what I did. Have to go back, right? Okay, so let's read up a little bit here. So the notes from the rights holder is characters in the script include the Wanderer, Salem, Emily or Isaiah. I'll have to figure out how to say that. Samael, Lilith, Michael, Asmodeus, Elizabeth, Gabriel, Marlene, and Aiden. Okay. Salem. Voice should be a combination of a Middle Eastern meets Midwestern accent. Okay. So Salem is the main character of the story, and I think it's told from his perspective. That might be a little difficult because so Midwestern meets Middle East. Okay. So that accent, Midwestern doesn't really have too much of an accent in there, depending upon where in the Midwest you're from. It does have a little bit of a twinge on some words, depending, but that being modified by Middle Eastern could be a little tricky. Okay. Because Middle Eastern, let's say if we're going to go for generic Arabic, they'll have little things in their speech like the P sound in Arabic. P's don't really exist in the Arabic language as far as I understand, which causes an Arabic speaking person, when they're speaking English, to give the flavors of P's more of a B sound. So the police are coming, like not police, bullies, right? For example. They also don't like to say, well, they have it in their language, but it's interesting in that they're almost dropped, though, depending upon what region you're from and what part of the Arabic-speaking world you're from. But generically, or I guess almost stereotypically, the TH sound is dropped to a Z or Se sound. So, which could, it's going to be tricky because sometimes that can kind of come across if you use the Z too much. I can slip into German. So that's going to be tricky to keep a hold of. Take a little practice, basically. So, okay. The voice should be a combination of Middle Eastern meets Midwestern Western accent. I'm going to have to work on that. Probably going to have to listen to a whole bunch of Middle Eastern speakers, Arabic speakers, and get that fresh in my mind and go for it. I also have an accents for stage and theater book that uses the international phonetic alphabet to describe how to do certain accents with the replacements. So I might have to study that a little bit too on this one. So I don't know if this will actually be a final product tonight, because I want to make sure that the main character is down pat, down solid. So I might actually have to do this one tomorrow and turn it in. Interesting. Okay. Emily, moving on. The voice should be feminine and sensual / seductive. Okay. So the voice should be feminine, sensual, seductive. So we got to slow her down. We're probably going to use a lot, since there's quite a bit of characters here, we're probably going to use a lot of Laban. So if you look up Laban techniques, it's basically just a way to do acting, if you will. But in particular to voice acting, it's going to basically give us some different flavors and choices that we can make on character voice. Like we can be punchy and really quick and short with our words, or we can float words out. And there's all different kinds of choices. But if you look up Laban for stage and screen, you'll see what I'm kind of talking about. There's kind of like a grid pattern that you can use to come up with different ways that you can speak, or the people speak, so that we can make different decisions and make these characters sound a little different from each other. So the voice for Emily should be feminine, a little higher. I'm going to try to resist the natural resonance in my voice. Be sensual and seductive. So she's going to be floaty, basically. Samael. So I looked up a little thing beforehand on the different hierarchy of angels and the generic kind of hierarchy and meanings behind some of the angels. Samael is the venom in the structure, and he's kind of the fifth in line. The first in line is Michael, who is the most godlike, according to this particular structure. So take that with a grain of salt. And then Gabriel stands for more of the strength of the angels, and he's second to Michael, even though on the parallel playing field. And then Samael is at the fifth in line, or the venom of the angels, which whatever the heck that means. But whatever that means doesn't matter. I'm going to kind of use those key words to make differences in their voice, right? So here for Samael, it says the voice should be firm, authoritative, almost regal. So maybe we'll punch him. We'll punch him up. We'll make him real short and concise. The voice should be firm and authoritative, almost regal. Everything's cut short. We'll make him choppy, a little deeper, as authoritative as we can be, and almost, maybe not lispy, but almost aggressive in a way. That's kind of, I think I'll think of him to do the voice. Lilith. So I'm a fan of the Diablo video game series, and Lilith is in the new expansion or in the new Diablo 4 game that came out. So anytime I think of Lilith, that's what I'm thinking of. Probably different in this particular book, but the voice should be seductive yet venomous. Okay, so we're going to make her a little higher pitch, take the gravel out of my voice as much as I can, and then make her seductive. But maybe I'll make her that floaty, but mix in a little bit of Samael in there, right? Where it's a little bit of shortness to it, choppiness, right? Punch. And we'll do it that way. So Lilith should be seductive, yet venomous, sharp. She's up there and coming across more breathy, but sharper. Okay. Michael, or the most godlike in the structure that I looked up. So we'll make him kind of the middle of the road, if you will, but a little bit deeper and authoritative. So we'll stretch him out a little bit to make him different. The voice should be firm, masculine, authoritative, and regal. Okay. Somewhat different pitch than Samael. Okay. So a pitch difference. So maybe we'll have him a little higher or lower. I don't know. We'll have to play with that and see what sounds right in the context. The voice should be firm, masculine, authoritative, and regal. Somewhat different pitch than Samael. So maybe we'll use that. I don't know. Asmodeus. The voice should be raspy, yet deep and sinewy. Okay. So deep and raspy, yet sinewy, and kind of almost, yes, evil. I think it kind of exudes that. And yes, the hand action does help. come up with that voice. Let's see here. So, we have Elizabeth next. Voice should be Midwestern Kansas accent. Interesting. So Midwestern Kansas, of the people that I have met, I have a really good friend from Kansas. And outside of the general American kind of tone, I haven't really noticed much of an accent from Kansas. They do say some more southern words like y'all. It's pretty popular there. So maybe in the context of some of it, we can throw in a slight twinge of southern, but not too much because it's still Midwestern. And it's not very thick there. The accent's not very thick. If really at all. I mean, you got to be paying attention to be able to tell, like, right? Gabriel, the strength of the angels, okay? The voice should be similar to Michael in that it's firm, authoritative, and regal. Okay, so maybe we'll take him lower. We'll give him that regalness, too. The voice should be similar to Michael in that it is firm, authoritative, and regal. So we'll make him a little deeper. We'll drop that down a little bit. Okay? Let's see here. Marlene. The voice should be that of someone who grew up in Pennsylvania. Sarcastic 20-something female. Okay, so we'll try to make her a little bit younger sounding as much as I can without going into the Uncanny Valley area there, which is hard for me with more female voices, because you don't want to go too high and then it's just cringeworthy, right? And it's more, I think, too, you can lighten it up in the voice a little bit, but then it's more about attitude. So it's good that he gave me the note there of sarcastic 20-something, and that way I can really kind of punch that up in there across the lines, you know, like the voice of someone that grew up in Pennsylvania, like a sarcastic 20-something female, like punch that up a little bit, maybe even go a little thicker, depending. We'll see. We'll see how she plays out as a character. Marlene. And then Aiden. The voice should be Irish American in tone with just a hint of an Irish accent to it. Okay, just a hint. All right, so with the Irish accent and just a flavoring of it, what sometimes helps me is going a little thick with it, going a little overboard, and then just pulling back. As part of the process of doing an audiobook, you turn in, at least on ACX, and it's probably a good thing to do anyways, and it's kind of something that I've done, is you turn in a little checkpoint to the author or the rights holder, and you have them listen to it, and then they can give you kind of any notes. And you make sure that what you're thinking is what they're thinking, you're on the same page, and then if everything's good, boom, you proceed forward and you start doing your recording. So with a lot of these voices, since he's being very specific to something that he wants to hear, it's going to be one of those where in the checkpoint to it, outside of this audition, let's say he offers it to me, which would be great. When I get ready to record, my first checkpoint will have all these characters in there. One more time, just to make sure that we're clear on what he wants, because you don't want to run into the scenario that you're done with, I think this is like a 7.5, 8 hour audiobook, and then he's like, I don't like the main character's voice. Well, at that point, you have two choices. Either you live with it, and the author rights holder hates it, and that's not a good thing, or you as the voice actor goes back and re-records 7 hours of audiobook with finding that voice and redoing all the lines in the way that they want it. Not a good place to be. Don't want to be there. Just a little tip for you. Always make sure that you're on the same page, especially with all your main characters. Like if they're a tertiary character, it doesn't really matter. There you go, right? Because in the scheme of things, probably not that big of a deal. But you never know, because they could be a character reoccurring in a different part of the series if it's not a standalone, right? So I try to include as many characters as I can. So it's great that he kind of included some of this in there. So the voice should be Irish American, just a hint of Irish. Okay, so we can do that, I think. The voice should be Irish American in tone, with just a hint of an Irish accent. I think we can do that. I think we can do that. Oops. Grab the wrong mouse again. I have two mice here. Keep doing that. Okay. All right. Second Bride script. Okay, so we're probably going to go kind of slow through this first part and then make any notes that we need to make. What I might actually do... When I mark up a script usually, when I'm going through it, I'll use a program on my iPad called iAnnotate. And I'll save like a PDF copy of whatever it is, and then I'll literally, for any of the characters, I'll mark out their dialogue in different colors. That way, when I'm coming through, I don't have to read so far ahead to get the context of who it's saying it. Like in this very first line of the script here is Lilith, right? Is stepping from the shadows and saying this line. So that's fine. I can kind of do that to a certain point, but when sometimes in dialogue, when they don't leave an attribution, it can kind of get confusing in who's talking when you're in the moment. So I like to just have the color there, figure that out ahead of time, and then when I come to it, I see, oh, yellow, I know who that character is. I start to memorize those things, right? And then it becomes really easy, like, oh, green's coming up, right? So as I'm reading those words ahead of where I'm at narrating, I know he's coming up, right? It's kind of like a cool visual indicator and makes the process a little quicker in the long run. It takes a little bit longer in your initial read, but it's worth the time that you spend prepping it. And prepping too is a thing. I'm thinking about making a YouTube video here soon about the process that I use to prep audiobooks and long form narration, including sometimes I'll go through, depending on sentences, and I'll leave indicators on where I need to take catch breaths, right? Punctuation in an audiobook is merely a structure and a suggestion. We don't necessarily follow that, right? I might skip over a pause for a comma, right? It's there grammatically because it needs to be, but when you're reading something and you're trying to make the dialogue sound natural, you might not pause for that. You might not pause at the end of a sentence. You might roll into the next one, especially if it's dialogue, right? People don't usually pause sometimes. They'll just continue into the next thought because that's where the thought ends, and then they want to continue, but they don't stop and take a breath because that's just how they talk, because naturally that's the way that they do it, right? Like they don't... You get my point, right? So maybe I'll make a little short video on that. So if you're interested, look for that on the YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube. All right. That is good. All right. So what I might do is kind of go through, start reading this out, start trying little things here and there with the script to kind of get a feel for it, and just do a kind of a once through. So you don't ever want to like go through, read it for the very first time, cold read style, and turn that audition in, because that's not going to be your best, right? You can record it if you'd like, but don't turn that in. Don't turn that in. It's not going to be good, or as good as it could be. So let's see here. So Lilith is the voice, okay, that we're hearing here. Let me see here. So Lilith is our seductive yet venomous, okay? You sound surprised, said the voice of a ghost as Lilith stepped from the shadows. Turning, I said, a little. I thought that was you beneath the shroud. So that's our Samuel character who's this is about, right? Long platinum blonde hair, bloodshot amber eyes, sharp canine teeth already descended, pale skin, hourglass figure, with black leathery wings jutting from her back. Lilith stood before me, wearing nothing more than a gleaming smile. Ever the succubus, ever the seductress, ever the vampire. Lilith possessed a presence unlike any before her, much more so than any of the succubi that were her sister brides, much more so than any of the children she once spawned through the passing of her vampiric blood after draining her victims of every last drop of their own. Okay, that is a very long section right there in terms of... Okay, cool. Interesting. Okay, so he goes straight into a description of Lilith right here. Long platinum blonde hair, bloodshot amber eyes, sharp canine teeth already descended, pale skin, hourglass figure, black leathery wings jutting from her back. Lilith stood before me, wearing nothing more than a gleaming smile. Ever the succubus, ever the seductress, ever the vampire, Lilith possessed a presence unlike any before her. Much more so than any of the succubi that were her sister brides. Much more so than any of the children she once spawned, through the passing of her vampiric blood after draining her victims of every last drop of their own. I quickly realized why it was she. Wait, what? Why it was she was the... Oh, okay, I get it. Why it was she was the first. Got it. I quickly realized why it was she. That's so weird to read because I see the was on the other side of the she and it throws my mind for a loop. I don't know why that's tricky for me. I know what he's trying to say here. I quickly realized why it was she, or why it was, there's the pause, she was the first. There we go. I quickly realized why it was, she was the first. There you go. And then we have some flop counters. So I messed up at least 3 times there. So we'll just give myself 3. There we go. All right. And see, and this is why, like, prepping is important, too, because right here, I would make an annotation that, hey, why it was, pause, she was the first, and that gives me a mental indication where to pause, or a visual indication where to pause. I quickly realized why it was, she was the first, why she would always be the first. Taking another step back toward the mouth of the cave and blowing blizzard outside, I attempted to keep distance between myself and this vampiric bitch that would. Oh, okay, I see. I attempted to keep distance between myself and this vampiric bitch that just would. Man, I don't know why I'm struggling with that. I attempted to keep distance between myself and this vampiric bitch that just would not die. Okay, apparently there's a relationship beforehand, obviously, because he gave us a little snippet of that in our description of the book, where he's had a relationship with this vampiric bitch, right? So, that's interesting. This vampiric bitch that just would not die. Okay, we might pump up the frustration on that too, a little bit. What you see on that slab is what remains of one of my children, Amelia O'Reilly. Do you remember her? Lilith said. Looking at the death shroud covered corpse, I remember back. Okay, so we're gonna get a little bit of backstory here. Cool. Looking at the death shroud covered corpse, I remember back to just 2 years ago when Amelia O'Reilly accompanied the High Queen of the Fairy herself, Bridget. Oh, Bridget. Okay. I wonder if we're going to get Bridget in here too? No, it's probably just a backstory. Bridget, in order to attend her maker's wedding. Okay. Interesting. Looking at the death shroud-covered corpse, I remember back to just 2 years ago when Amelia O'Reilly accompanied the High Queen of the Fairy herself, Bridget, in order to attend her maker's wedding. Amelia had been thought dead, having died in Fairy upon Lilith's demise. When she appeared at Bridget's side, Bridget explained that she had raised Amelia from the dead, giving her back her humanity, stating she could only do so after Lilith had been killed. It was believed that only Aiden had been spared, that fate had given... What? It was believed that only Aiden had been spared, that fate... Been spared that fate. Got it. Woo! I don't know why that's hard for me. Okay, got it now. It was believed that only Aiden had been spared that fate, given that the Archangel Michael had somehow changed him, and he granted him the gift of daywalking. Okay? Cool. Interesting. All right. So some of these I'm going to have to do like a visual indication of where that line stops, right? Like, might do that. And, oh, I can't actually. I have to do it that way. Did I do that one? There we go. Okay. All right. Okay, let's start up the top there and give that a better read so we understand it here. Okay. It was believed that only Aiden had been spared that fate, given that the Archangel Michael had somehow changed him when he granted him the gift of daywalking. I had been able to confirm then through the mark that she was indeed human. Okay, the mark must be a specific thing, so let's emphasize that. Give myself kind of a visual indication here. Okay. I had been able to confirm then through the mark that she was indeed human. How? I said. Amelia is no longer a vampire. She was turned human again by Bridget. Okay. I think what I might do too is go ahead and take a listen to the first audiobook. And it might be something that some narrators don't necessarily do because they make it their own, right? But I kind of want to see how the first guy did the main character's voice and emulate that as much as possible, so that anybody listening to the audiobook series doesn't get too much of a stark contrast between the two. There's going to be a little bit because I sound different than him. It's just that's the way it's going to be, right? And anybody who does it is going to be different than him. So, yeah, we're going to see here. But I at least want to get his inflection and mirror that. So it's not as harsh of a jump. But for now, we're just going to go with it. Stepping out of the shadows to her left, another figure emerged. He was tall, nearly 6'5", with a dark complexion, a fighter's physique, jet black hair, black orbs for eyes, and believe it or not, no horns growing from his head, but black feathery angel wings sprouting from his back, which I suppose made sense, being that he was, and still is, an archangel. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so here's Samael, is who we just kind of described, who I think was... Let's scroll to the top here. The Venom, authoritative regal. So we're going to do the short kind of authoritative one on that one. Okay. Ah, Brathos, Samael said. She was always so good at deception. Usually it was only to deceive and thwart demons who hunted in her territory, but apparently she grew adept of deceiving a great many others as well. Are you trying to tell me she somehow deceived me? Of course I am, Wanderer, because that is precisely what she did. As ruler of her domain, she has the ability, just as I, to create whatever she wishes to create. She was able to protect Amelia O'Reilly from turning to dust at the demise of my bride. But the creature that you met 2 years ago, following our battle on the mortal plane, was not Amelia O'Reilly. She was simply a mirror image of the true Amelia, a glamour to disguise her fey creature, a shapeshifter into passing as a returning and cured Amelia O'Reilly, while the real vampire remained secluded in her kingdom in fairy. That's impossible, I said. My mark would have seen through any glamour, yet it did not. Why should I believe you? You don't have to believe me, Wanderer, he said. You can see for yourself. There is her body. Pull back her lips and see the fangs for yourself. All right. Okay. So, interesting. Interesting so far. Yeah, I really need to go back and kind of listen to a little snippet or some snippets of the first audiobook and see what was done before. Because that might give me also a better idea of what the rights holder's looking for, which is, it's kind of a unique advantage, and I should take it, kind of in this case, right? Hopefully you all are having a good evening. and relaxing while we audition here, or set up this audition for this audiobook. And we'll continue forward here, reading through this first read of our audiobook audition. When I was able to extradite myself from my goddaughter, I looked over to Gabriel, who stood there smiling like a fool, and said, "Thank you for pulling me out of there. You took the risk." Oh, this is Gabriel, so hold on. We want to do Gabriel as... No. We want to do Gabriel as... Oh, the strength. Okay. So he's going to be lower pitched. But still that regalness to him, right? Almost... Maybe I should slip into a little bit of, like, UK, British kind of tone. Maybe RP or... Yeah, that might be regal, right? Or what an American would think of it as. Okay. You took the risk, Wanderer, not I, he said. Is it true? What Samuel said about the mark not working in hell? And then Marlene. What do we got for Marlene? That's why color coding this stuff is going to help here eventually. Not that we'd have it memorized by now anyways. His voice should be that one, some sarcastic 20-something female. Okay. Cool. You took the risk, Wanderer, not I, he said. Is it true, what Samael said about the mark not working in hell? Wait, what? Marlene said, looking from me to the Archangel and back again. It is not, he said. Samael would say anything, do anything to get the upper hand against my foe. It is what made him such a great tactician in battles we once fought side by side. You'll have to tell me about... Let's do that. There we go. You'll have to tell me about... Some of those someday. Got it. You'll have to tell me about some of those someday. So, the mark did help me defeat Gresil? Gressel, I think. You'll have to tell me about some of those someday. So, the mark did help me defeat Gresil. Yes, he said. Of course. Did it not harm is... Now I have to figure out how to say this. Aisha. Isha? I might have to ask for clarification. One good thing that you can do if you need clarification on anything, and it might be good to kind of do just as preemptive thing if you get offered the particular audiobook, is, hey, any kind of common mispronunciations of names, let me know how you want me to say them. And then if there's anything that's made up for your universe that's not an actual word, right? Give me a recording of you saying the word how you would like me to say it. That way, if there's any kind of, if you're doing, like, say, like a fiction book, like science fiction, or fantasy or something, there's magical spells or monsters or, it's set in space and there's an alien race. Record yourself saying those names so that I can say them how you would like them pronounced. That way you don't have to guess, and it saves a lot of back and forth, and it saves a lot of mispronunciation, right? And then that way you have it clear, right? Like, hey, you want me to say it like this, so that's how I said it, right? And there's no question, right? So this one, there might be actually a common pronunciation that I just don't know, and I can look it up, and if I can't find it, then you would reach out and find out from the author or rights holder, right? So let's see here. So Aisheth is, I think, what that's going to be, or how I'm going to say it, and I think that's the Elizabeth character is the other name for that person. Did not... Yes, he said. Of course. Did it not harm Aisheth when she pushed you into the portal leading to where Samael hid with his first bride? Wait, what? Marlene repeated. Only this time for a different reason, as she tried to keep up with the conversation. Okay, so she's more confused. Okay. Wait, what? Marlene repeated, only this time for a different reason, as she tried to keep up with the conversation. I knew she was up to something, Uncle Salem. Oh, Uncle. Oh, okay, so this is... Okay, got it now. Niece, all right. I told you that you can trust her. Okay. I knew she was up to something, Uncle Salem. I told you that you couldn't trust her. Ignoring her for a second, I said to Gabriel, how injured was she? What? Marlene said. Are you serious? Turning my attention to her, I pleaded, calm down. Just let me talk with Gabriel, uninterrupted. I have my reasons for why I'm asking these questions. I almost went British with this dude. And he's supposed to be Middle Eastern meets Midwestern. God, that's rough. Calm down. Just let me talk with Gabriel, uninterrupted. Well, I'm going to keep it that way just for now and just go with it. And then I want to hear the other guy, how he did the first book, and then we'll go from there. I'll just mirror that. Just save time here. In response, she folded her arms across her chest in stern defiance, but remained silent. The mark did not do any permanent harm to her, he said. But it was enough to give me the exact location where I could find you. Did you truly know that she would betray you? I was hoping she wouldn't, I said. But she is a succubus and beholden to Samael. There was a chance she was playing me. Playing you? Gabriel asked quizzically. Marlene harumphed in exasperation. What? I said, looking at her sternly. I know I used that right. I know I used that right. Oh, because she was probably giving him crap beforehand, so it's like a, what? I used that right, you know. What? I said, looking at her sternly. I know I used that right. You did, she said. But it's just weird hearing slang terms coming from you. Slang terms? Gabriel asked quizzically. In other words, I said, I had a feeling that she would betray me. I was just hoping I was wrong. I see, he said. I must visit the mortal plane more often so that I can catch up on these slang terms. Please don't, Marlene said as she face-palmed herself. Uncle Salem, when you're finished out here, we need to catch up. I don't like being in the dark. Watching her go back inside, Gabriel asked, In the dark? Is that another slang term? Yes, I said. It means not knowing something. She wants me to tell her what happened and why I thought Isheth was going to betray me, even though I was telling her that I wanted to trust her. I see, he said. Now that we know that Samael's... What? Reading a word that's not there. Now that we know what Samael's plan is, what do we do? I still don't know what his plan is, I said. He brought Lilith back from the dead, but he said it was so that she could rule by his side. Do you think he will recreate her bloodline? Allow her to bring vampires back into this world? It is possible, Gabriel said. I will need to share this information with Michael. He will know what to do. While you're doing that, I suppose I should go inside. And while you're doing that, I suppose I should go inside and face the music. Face the music? It's another slang term, I said. It means face the consequences for telling my goddaughter my plan. Tell her not to be too cross with you, he said. You did not share much of your plan with anyone else either, including me. At that, he disappeared, returning to his own plane or teleporting to the other side of the world for all I know. Stepping inside the townhouse, I called home. I could hear Marlene upstairs speaking loudly with her boyfriend. The next-door neighbor Leo McDowell. Okay. Stepping inside the townhouse I called home, I could hear Marlene upstairs speaking loudly with her boyfriend, the next-door neighbor, Leo McDowell, a kid who had... And that is a sound. Vastus Acer... Wow, I can't even say your name today. I think I'm blaming the scotch, but thank you for the follow. I'm going to call you Vast for now, because I can't say asynchronicity, or asynchronicity. I said it right, but I'm not going to say it right again, so Vast. Thanks for the follow. Hope you enjoy your stay here as I flub through this audition for an audiobook. Yay. Kind of doing a cold read here, trying to get a grasp on the characters and what they are and how the author kind of wants them to come across. This is book 2 in the series, but I did not do the first book. Another narrator did the first book, and I recently updated my demos on ACX. This author came across them and said, "Oh, your voice would be perfect. Would you do my second book? Here's the audition. Would you audition for it?" And I said, absolutely, because that's not usually how it happens. Usually authors don't reach out to me. It's usually the other way around. So I'm like, yeah, let's take a look. So this is kind of a cold read, figuring things out, and showing you all kind of the process that I use to go through and audition for something, which might look a little painful because we're stopping and kind of coming back and figuring some of these things out and how we want to do them. But one thing that we discovered already is that I've got to go back and figure out how the first narrator did some of this and kind of try to mirror some of what he did. I don't have to, because I am a different narrator and I'm not going to get probably super close to what he did, but I want to bring some of that flavor because, listening to audiobooks myself, when another narrator takes over, I hate it when they pronounce things differently, especially like main names to people and things like that, or places, like the Driss series. I really love the Driss series. And different narrators have done different books in that series. And they all say Menzo Berensand different. Some of them even say Drist's name different. And it's annoying, right? Because you've listened to like 20 books this way, and then all of a sudden this new guy is saying it different, right? You get used to it after a while. But I want to try to avoid as much of that as possible. That is a neutral narrator voice. Nice. Oh, thank you. Wow, nice. I got those audio settings on lock as well. Cool. Awesome. Are you a narrator as well, Best? Do you do some narration and some voice acting? Or just reading in general? I know this category is new, the reading and writing category, so it's really cool. I've been able to meet a lot of writers and other narrators and readers, which is... It used to be really hard to find people, especially narrators. Yep, got to preserve flow. Absolutely. And I think the stream might be behind a little bit too. So this may come in way after you already said that, but I had a little technical difficulty earlier, and I had to figure out how to fix that on the fly. So I think things may have gotten a little behind, at least on my end that I'm looking at. So thank you for joining. We're going to continue here with where we left off, which was, I don't know, somewhere here. Let me catch up to where we were. This is a story. Oh, actually, I just built a command. Not pro, hobby only. See, I transitioned from hobby into professional this year. I'm actually in the middle of doing audiobook lessons, coaching. I'm about 10 months in, and I have 4 months left before I graduate for Mr. Sean Pratt, who's a big name in nonfiction, which is, I think, what I kind of want to go into, but I'm not turning down anything, you know what I mean? Within reason. So I'm still there are some things that I'm working on, learning and getting better at. This will be if I get this book, it'll be my 5th book that will be on Audible eventually, but I've done about 6 of them. So I started back in 2015 just doing voice acting, and I think my very first audiobook was 2018. I am so sorry, guys. That's not a good audiobook. I don't think anybody's first is, but that one's terrible. So I apologize for that. If you guys want me to redo that, you let me know. I got you. I'm much better now. I've learned. I promise. Got better. I actually do short story narration for the Other Stories podcast, which is the gentleman that approached me for the first audiobook I did. So I actually do a lot of stuff for them because they're awesome. Short story, horror story fiction, and it's a couple gentlemen out of the UK. Good podcast if you like that kind of thing, the horror stuff. Drift. Yep. Yeah, I mean, not really so interested in pro. The pro track destroys hobbies. I get it, though. It does. That's the thing. And it's like kind of anything that you enjoy doing as a hobby. If you make it like your career, like the thing that you do primarily for your source of income, there's a whole like stress level that goes into that, right? And it takes some of the fun out of it. Kind of the interesting thing for me is, so you're self-triggering the command. Nice. Yeah, I have a little flub counter, so every time I mess up, boop, I can hit it. Or you can use flub every time I mess up and keep me accountable. Thought it was kind of a fun thing because I mess up a lot. But that's why we have punch and roll. You'll never know I messed up when the finished product is there, right? But yeah, so that's the thing though, is like I have my day job right now. I work in IT and cybersecurity and nuclear compliance. So that's what I do for money. Even though kind of turning professional and trying to make this, hopefully the goal is this becomes my day job, but I don't have that pressure there yet. So it's still fun. And I hope it at least can kind of stay that way. But I totally get it. Like, it's not for everybody. And there is no pressure there. If you want to do a book every now and then, there you go. Doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want, which is kind of freeing in a way. So I envy that. Former pro, never again. Oh, so you went the other way. Okay, so you were a pro, then you were like, nah, no, not doing that. F that noise. All right. So maybe you're smart. Maybe you're really smart. And I'm not so much trying to get into that. Is that what you're saying? You're like, dude, no, don't do it. No, I know you're not saying that, but I could see it though. I will say though that in the audiobook narrator community and voice actors and stuff, everybody that I've met so far, knock on wood, has been really cool and down to earth. Like, it's not one of those where like the well-known people are like just, you're beneath me, kid. You know, not like I've never felt that way. So at least that's good, right? But yeah, is this your main job? Have you made that transition? I have not. I see front end dev and data now for me. Oh, front end. Okay, gotcha. So you're doing front end development for like whatever it may be. I kind of equate that in my mind with like web development, like front end, back end, but it could be other things, I guess. But a developer. I see. No, not my day job right now. I haven't transitioned yet. That is the hope. And if it doesn't become that, like I don't, get enough clientele for it to become that way, at least for now, that's fine. I'm also kind of trying to set this up as a retirement gig too. So when I retire from my main job, I have something to do when I retire, and all it requires me to do is be able to read still. So perfect, right? Give me something to do and maybe give me a little bit of extra income because Social Security sucks. Did you know that the Social Security amount for the taxable amount has not gone up in 40 years? Isn't that crazy? If you live in the States? Yeah, it's nuts. So just trying to live off of that, not a good plan. I have retirement accounts. I'm planning ahead. But just be just a little bit extra. And maybe in the meantime, it'll be a vacation fund. There you go. I don't know. Taking it easy, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. For sure, yeah. Oh, I saw a guy cry in private chat because he'd been playing Fortnite 3 years straight, and he was starting to have a mental breakdown. That's not good. That's not good. Yikes. For sure. Also, my smartphones are special. I'm that way too. Tonight, I'm just that way speaking because we're partaking of adult beverages while trying to do this, which is probably not a smart idea, but it's fun. It's fun. I'm going to record this for real tomorrow. This is kind of the cold read once through, but I thought maybe at the beginning we record it, but I just need to do a little bit more research after this, so it's just not going to happen tonight because I'm pretty sure that would be boring as heck, like watching me listen to an audiobook. Nobody wants to do that. And I don't know the whole legal side of that. That might be copyright kind of infringing, so I definitely don't want to do that. But yeah, record this tomorrow, but we're going to kind of push through and keep recording on this one and figuring some things out on our own, and then really just listening to the audiobook for context and accents that were used to see if we kind of want to mirror that, because that's what the author wanted, right? Who happens to also be the rights holder, so I use those interchangeably. You would understand that. Smart. As bold to assume we are getting it. That is gone. Nah, go to a point, it will help, like coding beer. Like the coding beer. Yeah, pretty much. And anything past this first class, and it's not helpful. So we'll stick to the one glass, right? And then occasionally back it up with some water here. Which, probably a good idea before I jump back into this, and we discover maybe what this boyfriend next door is, although it doesn't look like it, because it looks like we're going to a different passage. I think the author gave me some passages to go through to get an example of each kind of voice that they want for each one of the characters. Quite a few characters in this, so. And I think it's only like 11 pages long, so it's pretty short, but it's packed full of all the characters that he kind of wants to hear, which, smart. Definitely smart. Alrighty, here we go. Back into the thick of it. We just met the niece's boyfriend, the kid next door. All right. But she didn't really pay much attention at the time. She was too focused on her education and what she planned to be one day. Okay. She was too focused on her education and what she planned to be one day. I still wonder if what she planned to be was what she turned out being. Our savior. I think I'm making that more clunky than it needs to be. I still wonder if what she planned to be was what she turned out being. My savior. All right. Looks like we're going to a basement. Tip. Rose tea, honey, fresh ginger with rose. Extends vocal life, speeds recovery. Ooh, good tip. Thank you, sir. I do like me some tea. I don't think I've ever had rose tea. I will try that, though. I just had, actually, tea tonight. But I, what was it? Oh, Thai tea. I had Thai tea tonight. It's either that or the Irish breakfast tea. And the Irish breakfast tea is a little strong for this evening. But I could have probably gotten away with it. Because we're going to be up late. Alrighty, let's see here. The basement looked absolutely nothing like a basement. In fact, it didn't even look as though it went with the club. The decor resembled more of an apartment than a place for storage, as I had envisioned it to be. Seated on a love seat facing one wall, a huge 72-inch television adorning it, was Aiden and Elizabeth Gallagher. Seated on a love seat facing one wall, a huge 72-inch television adorning it, was Aiden and Elizabeth Gallagher. They immediately got to their feet when they saw us enter, and Elizabeth nearly knocked me over as she moved in for a hug. "Whoa," I said as I stepped back a little in order to keep my balance. "Sorry. How did we want Elizabeth to be again?" Let's scroll up, because he gave us some notes on each character, which is super cool. Not used to getting that. So we need to know what Aiden and Elizabeth sound like. So he said, what did he say? Recommend. Oh, cool. Hey, thanks for the link. I will actually, let me click on it now so I have it saved, because I'll forget later. Cool. And then, can I send this to myself? I can put it in a note. Bergamot Rose. Boom. And done. Thank you for the link, sir. I appreciate it. Saved. I'll look that up. I have some, like, what do you call it? The little vocal something or other mints. They're, like, really strong and, like, pepperminty. when I was doing an audiobook like kind of through spring, and the only time I've ever had allergies is here in Northern California when I moved to California, and every beginning of spring, they destroy me, but that was helping me a little bit. But I definitely need to look up that rose tea and try that. I will give anything a try during that time of year, because like the allergy stuff, like the Claret D only works so much. And like one day to the next, my voice is just a little bit different. I don't think that maybe most people would notice from chapter to chapter, but I notice, and it drives me nuts, you know, kind of one of those things where my voice will drop down into a low register, or I can't quite get that low. So like stopping in the middle of a chapter is not a thing that I can do. Not a thing I try to do anyways, but it just sucks that time of year. So I'm going to check that out. The Dude Abides, right? I love that movie, dude. I love that movie. Actually, I have, if I could show you somehow, I don't know how I'd do that, but I'll figure it out one day. But I have a poster that I went to a Comic-Con, and there was a guy who did like his own rendition of The Dude in like this big like poster kind of thing. It's cool as hell. I'll just take a picture and pull it up on stream or something one day. But The Dude Abides, man. The Big Lebowski. Okay. Oh, we were scrolling up to see. Distracted already. See. Scrolling up to see what Aiden and it was Elizabeth. So we said Elizabeth should be Midwestern Kansas accent, which isn't much of an accent, more focused on certain words. And then Aiden should be Irish, hint of Irish, just a flavoring of Irish. As we get into the Irish flavorings, we want it very light, not very strong, because he is kind of Irish American with just a tinge of Irish. So we've got to nail that down. Maybe go a little too thick with it and then kind of come and pull it back so that it's only slightly there. And some words maybe emphasizing. All right. Did I scroll past it already? All right. Because we talked to Gabriel already. Gabriel. There we go. Yep, Elizabeth and Aiden. Okay, so Aiden is the Irish. Elizabeth is the Kansas. 128 GP. You render? Brush. Sweet. Bruh. 128 gigabytes. You render. Render what? I'm missing the meaning. I'm missing it, dude. I'm sorry. I'm not catching what that means. 128 gigabytes. You render? Do I render? Like as in 3D model rendering? That's where my brain's going. It's going IT instantly. Brush, sweet. I think I missed something out of context. I apologize. I didn't look up in time. Oh, bruh, sweet. Got it. You're looking through my PC specs down below. I finally put it together what you were doing. Yeah, but I do a lot of, I used to own this company back in the day, and we did a lot of video and audio production. And I needed a lot more RAM for the production side of things. And some of those specs might be a little outdated, but I'd have to look at it again because I made those quite a while ago. I have to look at it again. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff on there because I used to do music and all kinds of stuff, and I have stuff left over from running that company. So I've got like a weird assortment of like gear. I don't know. I'm trying to like find uses for all of it. Like, what do I do with 20 different microphones? I don't sell it. It's probably what I should do. No, that's no then. Cool. Or motion or video edit. Yeah. Video editing primarily is what I needed all the RAM for. Used to use Premiere, but now I've switched over to DaVinci. It's just easier for certain things, and it doesn't crash as much because Premiere is just, can't even, how many times that program, I'm in the middle of this huge project and it crashes and I lose half of it, right? Like, and even stuff that I was saving was getting corrupted and like, nope. And I have not had that problem one time with DaVinci Resolve, and I've been using it for a couple years now. So there you go. Prove your stuff, Adobe. I like all your other stuff, but Premiere sucks. I mean, it's good, but it's that one thing. Oh, sweet, hence the tight audio. Thank you. I turned this one up a little bit, so hopefully it's louder tonight. And hopefully the music isn't too distracting. I've tried to set it hopefully at the right levels. I don't know. It's distracting as hell to me, but I think most people have said it's in a pretty good place. So hopefully it is. Hopefully it is. Oh yeah, resolve is nice. Preach. Yeah, so I feel like you've also experienced these issues. Yeah. Preaching to the choir, right? Yeah. That's so annoying. So annoying. And, you know, hey, it's really good too with and I'm not super good at it, but it's really good too with oh man, I'm losing my train of thought. You know, color grading. Thank you. I was thinking like LUTs. I had the word LUT stuck in my head because that's what I'm applying a lot of times in color grading. But it's really good with color grading too, and being able to break it down into nodes and do that kind of fancy stuff is it's really powerful in DaVinci. But anyways, I digress. AE is awful. Preach. Yeah. Oh, After Effects, dude. That is a bear. It's good. It's very powerful. You can do a lot of things in After Effects, like really cool stuff. But there are some things that make it just more difficult than it should be, right? You know. Fix later though. Oh, there is just super low. There it is, just super low. Oh, sorry, I missed the line before it. Nah, there's none in the mix. There it is, super. Okay. So that should be it. It should be a light little flavoring of music there. It's really loud for me though. I gotta put in a, for lack of a better word, a mix minus, where you can hear it, but I don't. So, anyways, let's get back to Aiden and Elizabeth here. So we do our slight Irish accent, and we bring it back as slight as we can. All right. All right. Elizabeth immediately got to her feet. Felt. Yep. All right. Whoa, I said as I stepped back. As I stepped back a little in order to keep my balance. Sorry, she said as she released the embrace. No, it's fine, I said. I'm going into Irish now. Because I've been thinking Irish. Oh, man. It's going to be good. I'm just going to put another one on there because I'm going to do it. I know. It's going to take me a second to get back into the other. That is fine. No, it is fine, I said. I just wasn't expecting it is all. Turning to Emily, whom I expected to look either confused or jealous by this sudden intimacy, I found the opposite. She appeared to be fine with the stranger embracing me. Perhaps it was because she was a succubus, and they're not exactly creatures prone to jealousy. Aiden, Elizabeth, this is Emily, I said in a way of introduction. My true name is Isheth. Whoa, what is her true name? Isheth Zenunum. Zenunium? Isheth Zenunium. Say that 10 times fast, right? Irish wristwatch. It's not that bad, but that's it's hard for a cold read. Isheth Zenunium. My true name is Isheth Zenunium. I am a succubus, and formerly the second bride of Samael, or Lucifer, as you probably refer to him, Emily offered. Both Aiden and Elizabeth turned their attention from Emily to me with a look that said, "Please explain what she's talking about," written all over their faces. Michael intervened and said, Michael's voice was, okay, got it. He's the other angel first in line. Got it. I'm starting to memorize these things as we go through kind of the list. She speaks truth. However, she is no longer bound
to him. As I mentioned, Samael has resurrected Lilith, and we believe she is seeking to bring the threat of vampirism back to this plane. Vampirism. Bring the threat of vampirism back to this plane.
Vampirism?
It's vampirism. 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 All these accents, man, make me say stuff weird. Alright. Oh, this is Aiden, okay. I'm still a little foggy on just how it is that he was able to resurrect Lilith, Aiden said. Elizabeth turned her to ash with the sword. Oh no, this is still him talking, okay. This is why I usually color code this stuff in my prep. So it's making the cold read rather rough. But then again, why I color code things. Elizabeth turned her to ash with a sword. No vampire, no creature can come back from that. Looking solemnly at Aiden, Michael said, Perhaps the Wanderer can explain it better. Nice. I need like a key phrase to bring me back into his accent, especially because he's going to be the main character in this, the Wanderer. Very nice. Very nice. That might bring me back. Nice, I said. Way to throw me under the bus. Under the bus? Is that one of those modern slang phrases the humans are saying now? Chuckling, both Aiden and I said, Yes. Turning to look at me, Aiden fell silent, waiting for me to explain. Before I began, I asked if we had time to get into detail. Elizabeth was quick to respond that we could make the time. Well, first, I feel I must inform you that your progeny was never cured of vampirism, Aiden. What? He said, nearly getting to his feet. I know what you're about to say, I said, holding up a hand to forestall him. Bridget had a shapeshifter attend your wedding in her place. She hid Amelia on ferry, keeping her as her guest, for lack of a better term, in order to extract information from her about you, Elizabeth, and probably me. How do you know this? asked Elizabeth. Because it was through her blood that Samael was able to resurrect Lilith, I said. Bridget gave Amelia over to Samael. I'm not sure if it was her plan all along, and she and Samael were in league the entire time, or if Samael discovered she was holding her and somehow secured Amelia by the way of extortion or some other means. In either case, as the last of Lilith's bloodline, with her vampirism still intact, that is, Samael used that blood to recreate Lilith, to resurrect her. If I had to guess, he used a shapeshifter demon as a template. Turning to look at Michael, Aiden said, Can't he do that? As a creator of his own plane, he has the ability to create whomever he wishes there, to create whatever he wishes there. However, his creations lack one thing that sets them apart from what the Creator has given those of his creation: a soul. Interesting. A soul, Aiden said. You're telling me that no creature created by an angel or archangel, fallen or otherwise, has a soul? Precisely, Michael said. It is why they must be ruled over by their creator. Those without a soul and without direction are very dangerous. They would give in to their basic instincts and feed. Is that why I feel the need to feed? Emily asked. In a way, Michael said. When you returned, you did not necessarily lose your soul. Rather, like any other human soul, it was twisted. Wait, I said. Are you saying her soul was twisted like those souls I saw in hell? Not exactly, Michael said, but similar. Wait, hell? What do you mean by... What do you mean you... What do you mean you the souls you saw in hell? What? Am I reading that weird? Why did my screen shift over? Stop. Wait, hell. What do you mean you the souls you saw in hell? No, that's just a borked line. Okay. That's not on me. That's okay. What was he trying to... What do you mean... What do you mean the souls you saw in hell? I think this you is just extra. We're going to take that out. And then, kind of important too, is when we set up our contract for this, we got to make sure that it's very clear, like, hey, I need the final draft of the script, like the edited version. And editing after the fact, like 5% of the total script is what I'm willing to do. And even that's like, get me as final as you can, because I don't want to be re-recording things over and over again because of stuff, you know. The typo here and there. Nobody's perfect. No editor is perfect. It's going to happen. But that's just kind of a mental note for me, like, oh, I got to make sure I have that conversation right. So more of a mental note for me while I'm prepping you. What do you mean souls you saw in hell? Oh no, the scotch is gone. Why is the scotch gone? Wait. No, Irish. Chai. Wait. Hell? What do you mean the souls you saw in hell? Asked Aiden, turning to look at me. That's where I met Lilith. There's the Irish accent. Wait, hell? What do you mean the souls you saw in hell? Asked Aiden, turning to look at me. I gotta get back into the friggin' accent. Scroll down here. Give myself a couple there. That's where I met Lilith and saw the body of Amelia, I said. It's a long story, but suffice to say, if Lilith was recreated to return the vampire race to the mortal plane, with her put in place to rule them, I'm afraid we're all in trouble. Who's saying this? I think that's Aiden again. Because he just talked before this, so I think because Salem is the character that just talked, so it's not him. Yeah, okay. There we go. That is who we're talking about. It's a story I wouldn't mind hearing more about, but you're right. It can wait. As for your statement about Emily, is that what you prefer? Okay, he's asking there. As for your statement about Emily, is that what you prefer to be called? I assume it is, given that's how Salem introduced you. All right, interesting. Okay, so then we have a little bit of Michael in this one, but we had him before. Really, the new ones that he's trying to grab from this one that we need to pay particular attention to, especially with consistency in mind, is Aiden and Elizabeth. Emily. Elizabeth's the new one, because, yeah, Elizabeth. All right, cool. So then that one is... Okay. And then just quickly glancing through this one, just trying to see if there's any... Okay, so we're going to have to figure out who said this. Okay, a baritone voice. A raucous voice. A raucous. I have to look up that one. I think it's raucous. Raucous. Raucous voice. Raucous. Ba-ba. We're going to do this. Sure that's active. Oh, 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 oh. Nope. That's not what I wanted to hit. There we go. I'm going to do it on this one. It's just easier. I'm going to look up how to say that one. And good part of the prep too. And the cool thing is, like, if I was using iAnnotate to do some of this, you could highlight the word, look up the pronunciation for it, and then when you figure out how to say it, you can highlight it and record yourself saying it correctly, so that when you come across it again when you're reading it, if you forget, you can just be like, oh, you tap on it and it plays it for you. I love iAnnotate. Check it out if you do stuff like this. R-A-U-C-O-U-S. Pronunciation. Oh, I don't have the... I'm gonna grab the headphones for that. I'll be right back. Otherwise, I won't be able to hear it. All right. Back into the booth. As I now master wearing 2 headphones, because one's not good enough. Oh, what the hell? Yep, okay. Because this is actually a separate laptop I have out there, because usually when I record, I have my main desktop that's actually doing the streaming off, because the fans are super freaking loud. I have a noise... suppression filter added on into OBS on the stream, so you don't hear the fan, but it's stupid loud. But I have, normally how I have it is the laptop is actually doing the recording. So, because the laptop is a super low-powered laptop, and the fans are incredibly quiet. While I'm in the booth, you can't even hear it in the microphone. The microphone's fairly sensitive, so has a little bit of rejection because it's a shotgun. But anyways, that's why I have to have 2 headsets. I think I might just do like a pair of like Bluetooth earbuds into it, so I don't have to do this crazy looking thing in the future. But now I can hear the pronunciation of this particular word. So how do we say that word? Raucous. Okay, raucous, like rocks. Raucous. 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 It's weird, like I know the definition, but I didn't know how to say it. 100%. I would have said raucous, but it's raucous. So glad I looked that up. Okay, so now we know. But who is saying this? That's what we got to figure out. Raucous. Raucous. Okay, so 2 different people, obviously, the baritone voice and the raucous voice. I'm guessing probably Gabriel and somebody else. Aura gave off his aura to those around me. Supernaturals could all feel or sense it, as Michael has mentioned a number of times to me. However, it didn't seem to detract, as I've been attacked more than once by supernatural creatures, much to their own demise. Oh, okay. Yes, I'm here, I called out. Asmodeus, I know that's you. Okay, so one of them is Asmodeus. Why don't you reveal yourself? That must be Baal with you. Oh, why don't you both step out of the shadows and show yourselves? We didn't get any direction on Baal, so that is actually brand new. So we're just going to make up a voice for that guy, I guess. Unless it turns out not to be him. And another reason why I highlight characters when I do prep usually. Michael called out the male figure to our right that could only be the voice of Samael. Okay, so one of them is Samael. Oh, man.
You are not allowed to be on this plane, Samael, Michael said. Okay. I go where I want, little brother, he said. Run home to your master and bow down at his feet. Leave this plane to my rule. Okay, so who said the thing up there, though? That's what I'm trying to... Yes, I'm here. I called out. Asmodeus, I know that's you. So Asmodeus, we did get direction on how to do his voice, so we're trying to figure out... Is this Asmodeus? Or is this Asmodeus? So one of them is Asmodeus and one of them is Baal, I think. Right? One of them clearly a woman. Okay, so we have some context up here, though. So, who are these people? As we peered around the carnage left behind, we saw two grisly figures standing in the shadows of the nightclub. Though the music had stopped, the stage lighting continued to illuminate the dance floor. From the opposite direction, now taking notice of us, stood two more figures, one of them clearly a woman, though both remained in shadow. Came a baritone voice to my left, okay, from the opposite direction. Okay. It does appear to be, raucous voice said from beside him. Look at his aura. Only one creature walking this plane has that powerful an aura. Aura? I knew the mark gave off its own aura of sorts. It's around me. Supernaturals could all feel it or sense it, as Michael has times to me. However, it didn't seem to detract everyone, as I have been attacked more than once by supernatural creatures, much to their own demise. Yes, I'm here, calling. Asmodeus, I know that's you. Why don't you reveal yourself? That must be Baal with you. So, Asmodeus is the baritone voice that's supposed to be the evil-y type of sinewy voice. But Baal, is that the female? Because I think Baal is traditionally male in demonology, right? I don't know my demonology very well. So I gotta look that one up. Maybe it is female, or maybe those are two separate people. I don't know. It's hard to figure out in the context of this. I go where I want, little brother. So Michael's talking. Called out to the male figure to our right. That could only be the voice of Samael. Okay, so those guys are on the left. Right? Samael is on the right. Right? Left. Samael's on the right. So that is a separate... Someone sniffling in the air a moment later. Lilith is there. Was she the... Oh, man. And then Elizabeth is also here in this one. Tetelestai. Okay. Okay, so it looks like we have... Oh, and then that's the end. Okay. This went a lot quicker than I thought it would. I just have a... I'm trying to figure out who the heck is the baritone voice. And who the heck is this? I think it's supposed to be Asmodeus and Baal. But we didn't get any direction on what the author wanted for Baal, so we're going to make that up. I'll do a quick Google foo, I guess, and see if I can figure out if Baal is traditionally male or female. And in the context of this, maybe the female voice is actually supposed to be Lilith, because we know Lilith is there. But I'll have to read through that one more time and just see in context, I guess. And maybe we'll just start the read, and then as we read through some of the top part, it may become obvious. But I was just trying to kind of skim ahead and see what voices I was going to have to do. Because this one said, came a baritone voice to my left, but it doesn't say within the paragraphs who the hell that is. So we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I promise. All right, let's see who Baal is. Baal. Okay, Baal. Honorific meaning owner or lord in the Semitic languages. No, stop. There might be several of them. So I think I want to pull it from... I don't know. This might be the same. Okay. Yep. Etymology in the New Testament. Okay, cool. So we're in the same area. Making sure I have the right person. Bahal. So it's like a H in the middle. Okay. Let's go to something spoken so I can hear the pronunciation. Heading out, see you. Hey, thanks for... Oh, that's blasting my ear. Thanks for joining there, Vast. I appreciate it, and have a good night. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for the follow, man. No, it's just ball. Okay, ball. Okay. All right, so ball, I think is what it's going to be. So let's scroll to the top and do that, and then we'll be done with this one. Be all done, and then I'll actually record it tomorrow. Then we'll get into some voice acting. And that be nearly as painful, hopefully. All right. Okay, let's go to the top here, and we'll figure that out. Be right back, Neff. No problem. Take your time. I'll be here. All right. Let's see here. Opening the door at the top of the stairs, we'd entered only what seemed like a moment before. We opened up to what could be described as nothing less than a crime scene. Bodies beaten, shot, stabbed, and bloody littered the dance floor? I think he meant blood. Boop. Okay. I'm hoping this is a draft. Okay. Opening the door at the top of the stairs, we'd entered only what seemed like a moment before. We opened up to what could only be described as nothing less than a crime scene. Bodies beaten, shot, stabbed, and blood littered the dance floor. Those that could escape had trampled over some of the bodies as they made their way to the exits. Discarded weapons which had either fallen from their owners' hands as they... as they themselves fell to the floor. Okay. I'm probably making that more awkward than it is. Discarded weapons which had either fallen from their owners' hands. And kind of put in a little separation for... Oops. On the right keyboard. Hands as they themselves fell to the floor. Boop. Right there. Okay. For sure, man. Yep. Awesome. Thanks again. You've probably gone by now, but thank you. Okay. Those that could escape had trampled over some of those bodies as they made their way to their exits. Discarded weapons which had either fallen from their owners' hands as they themselves fell to the floor, or had been tossed when their ammunition ran dry lay in various locations. Some were near their previous owners. Other weapons were nowhere near. Okay, let's get back into it. Focus. Discarded weapons which had either fallen from their owners' hands as they themselves fell to the floor, or had been tossed when their ammunition ran dry, lay in various locations. Some were near their previous owners. Other weapons were nowhere near a body, yet lay in pools of blood. The manager of the club was nowhere to be found. Small comfort, I suppose. Christina was very attractive, but also quite small in stature. She could have easily slipped away and taken refuge in just about any location, so long as she remained quiet. There was a very good possibility that she would survive what was to come next. As we peered around at the carnage left behind, we saw two grisly figures standing in the shadows of the club. Though the music had stopped, The stage lighting continued to illuminate the dance floor. From the opposite direction, now taking notice of us, stood two more figures, one of them clearly a woman, though both remained in shadow.
Wanderer, is that you?
Came a baritone of a voice to my left.
It does appear to be,
said a raucous voice from beside him.
Look at his aura. Only one creature walking this plane has that powerful of an aura.
Aura? I knew the mark gave off its own aura of sorts to those around me. Supernaturals could all feel it or sense it, as Michael has mentioned a number of times to me. However, it didn't seem to attract everyone, as I have been attacked more than once by supernatural creatures, much to their own demise. Yes, I am here, I called out. Asmodeus, I know that's you. Why don't you reveal yourself? That must be Baal with you. Why don't you both step out of the shadows and show yourselves? Okay, Samael is the Venom, right? Yes, Samael's the Venom, okay.
Michael,
called out the male figure to our right that could only be the voice of Samael.
why do you insist on intervening? You are not allowed to be on this plane, Samael,
Michael said.
I go where I want, little brother, he said. Run home to your master and bow down at his feet. Leave this plane to my rule. That will never happen.
A sound of someone sniffling in the air came from beside Samael. A moment later, the unmistakable voice of Lilith spoke.
I can smell you, my child. You have a lot to answer for. You and your half-breed bitch. That is my progeny you speak of, vampire,
Michael said with more bass in his voice than I have heretofore ever heard from him. Also, progeny? Wait, oh, that's right. I'd almost completely forgotten. Elizabeth is a Nephilim, born from the union of Michael and human... is a Nephilim born from the union of Michael and a human mother. I messed all kinds of that up. Harside Gaming, how goes it? Goes really good. Thanks for joining. I'm doing a audition for this audiobook. It's going okay. I'm up to 32 flubs, more than last time. However, some of them not my fault. Caught some typos. It's not all me. That's how I'm justifying it, anyways. Okay, they're all me. But no, it's going good. It's going good. This one's interesting. The author actually gave me some notes on how he would like to have all of the characters voiced, like with their different accents that he imagined them having, and so it's actually pretty good. Now I kind of know what he wants. I am interested to maybe see a sample of the final copy of this, because if this is the audition script and I've run across at least 2 or 3 typos already, it concerns me a little bit. I know not everything in editing is perfect, and maybe threw this kind of together in a hurry to get the audition out, but I kind of want to see a sample of it because I have some concerns. But I guess neither here nor there. We're trying this out, and then basically what I think I'm going to do, since this is the kind of... I don't know. It's the cold read for me, but there's been a first book to this series. This is the second book done by a different narrator. I'm going to go back and kind of listen to some of theirs. I was lurking earlier. This is the same piece? Yes, same one. We're working on it. I digressed a little bit and got chatting with some with some people in chat, so I'm still pushing through it. It's actually a really short audition script. I'm just dragging it out. But yeah, so I'm going to go back and listen to that. So the final recording won't be tonight for sure. But yeah, still the same one. And then had a heck of a time here trying to figure out who actually said these 2 lines, because it actually never does say who said them. One of them is probably Asmodeus because he refers to it. The other one is Bao, which I got no notes on how to, voice that character. Doesn't really matter. Just made one up on the fly, and that's what I'll have to do. But yeah, it never says. They just he glosses past that. So I'm wondering if this is like kind of bridged, right? This is the abridged copy. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I guess I'm gonna push through. I'm gonna push through it. Push through it. That's what we're gonna do. Okay. Oh, how interesting. Good catch on the volume of typos. That is something worth noting. Yeah. Because if it's plagued with typos, it's not something I want to read. That would be very frustrating. And I'm not the best editor either, to be honest, so if it's one or two here and there, who cares? But it concerns me because it's in the audition script. Anyways, repeating myself. Let's push on with it. I can speak for myself, Elizabeth said as she pulled from virtually nowhere the sword she'd named Tetelestai? It's Hebrew. Okay, so we have a Hebrew. I might be able to look up how to say that in Hebrew. Cool. Learning how to say words. Love it. Love it. It's better that we learn them now. Okay. So it is a Hebrew word. I'm hoping not something made up. Yep, that word. Now we listen to how this word is said. This guy's on YouTube everywhere.
This is how we say the word.
Only appears twice in the New Testament. Good to know. Now you know. Knowing's half the battle. G.I. Joe. Tetelestai. Tetelestai. That's how we say that Hebrew word, which he also said means it is finished. So, direct translation from the Testament, as it were. What's your runtime at this point? Oh man, what is my runtime at this point? That is a good question. I know it says somewhere. Let me see. Probably says actually over on if I use the right mouse. Confusing myself. I don't know. Oh, there we go. 2 hours, 14 minutes, 52, 4, 5 seconds. I haven't actually started recording this, so if you're asking the runtime of what this actually has taken me, I haven't actually started recording. I was just kind of doing a cold read through it. When I first got it, I kind of glanced through it, but I didn't really read it, you know. This is very much still cold, but it ends right here. So we're almost done, actually. And then we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to do some voice acting for the audio drama. So that'll be a little change of pace. And I'll get to rest the vocal cords a little bit. All right. I've already forgotten how to say it. I think it was Tetelestai. All right, say it again, man. Say it again. Tetelestai. Yeah, I was right. Okay. Here we go. All right. Okay. 2 hours? Oh, that's what I mean. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think this one will take me very long. I think it'll probably take me, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. Maybe 15. I doubt it, though. It's pretty short. I haven't even looked up the actual word count on it, though. But no, I've been streaming for a little over 2 hours at this point. All right. Tetelestai is the name of the sword. It is finished. I mean, that's a pretty good name for a sword if you think about it. Because when you use it correctly or effectively, it's finished, I would imagine. All right. Elizabeth said as she pulled from virtually nowhere the sword she named Tetelestai, which translated to the phrase, "It is finished," in Hebrew. It was the last word spoken by Christ before taking his last mortal breath on the cross at Calvary. Almost at cavalry. Directing her attention to the Queen of Vampires, she said, "Come get some, Lilith, if you think you're woman enough." Beside me, Emily blurred, and in moments, the demonic form of... Why can I not say this word? Aisheth. There we go. Beside me, Emily blurred, and in moments, the demonic form of Aisheth the succubus stood in her place, her bat-like wings unfolding from her behind. I mean, kind of, right? I mean, it, maybe not directly out of her behind, but came from behind her. Yeah. Gotta love those. Serious face. Her bat-like wings unfolding from behind her, her clawed hands raised beside her, ready for battle. I withdrew my blade and watched as Aiden drew a sword from a scabbard he held in one hand. Also not something I witnessed him have prior to our coming upstairs. Michael withdrew from a pocket dimension a powerful angelic greatsword and held it aloft as he beckoned Samael to attack him. The battle of good versus evil was, in the words of Michael, unbalanced. There were 5 of us and only 4 of them. Before anyone could land a single offensive blow, however, the numbers changed quickly, but the balance did not. Slowly rising from the floor, awakening into the world once more as a newly made vampire, stood every single body that had been lying dead upon our entering the club from the basement. In our horror, we realized that our fear was not an either-or scenario, but both had occurred. Lilith had come for her revenge, and in the process, began making new vampires during her search for Aiden and Elizabeth. Well, it looks like they're in a bit of trouble. Yeah, what do you know? All right, so we ended with 37. Not bad. There's probably a lot more. I probably just didn't catch them all, but, Hey, you're back, Neff. Welcome back. We just finished the battle of good versus evil. Looks like it's heavily favored on the side of evil there at the end. Bum, bum, bum. All right, cool. Well, tell you what, I'm going to go back to the desk for a little bit, yak at you for a little bit, probably digress a billion times. We're going to take a quick little break here soon, fill up on the coffees, the waters, the beverages, the stuff. Take a bio break, if you will. And then we'll get into the voice acting for Papa Arkell, a reoccurring character in The Kingery. We'll talk a little bit about that when we get back there. See you there. See you in a second. See you there. See you in a second. Haven't left yet because I'm slow. Getting there. Okay. That's not the screen I wanted. I wanted that one. Oh, my camera turned off. The heck? Hold on. Technical difficulty. Let me reset that. All right, let's see if that did the trick. Not that I got to turn the source back on and off. Oh, it's probably when I had that, yep, that resolution thing that happened. It probably borked the camera. Probably just turn the whole thing off from the capture device and then back on like that. And that actually might make it pop back up quicker. Da-da-da-da-da. Come on, you can do it. I know you can. All right, give me a second here, folks, and we'll get this thing going again. I promise, I promise. There's that one, and then we want that one. Huh. It's just blacked out. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. There it goes. It just took a second. It just took a second. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, so that's interesting. I have some questions already, though, on the text about who's saying what on 2 lines, because it wasn't very clear, but I'll read through it again. Maybe it'll be more obvious my second time through it, and I'll record that tomorrow. But that's for later. That's for later. We're going to go into the audio drama stuffs. And let me get that all situated while we hang out here for just a moment. How are you all doing this evening if you're still here watching? And thank you if you are. Have you left your favorite ice cream flavor? Did I miss it? Because we're taking a poll. We're seeing what's the favorite ice cream flavor for this evening. I put down butterscotch. We had Neff in with the representation for butter pecan. It's a good flavor. It's not just an old person flavor like we talked about. It's a flavor for everyone. It's for everybody. The Kingery. There we go. Found that script. Hopefully that works in the other screen. We'll figure that out when the time comes. But this one I'll be doing 3 takes of each line, and I'll probably explain this again when we get in the booth here after our short break. It's episode 13 of season 9 of the show, The Kingery. Cephalopod Blues. Okay, interesting. And I have not read this yet, too, so we're just going to kind of go through, and I probably won't read through the whole script because I am very sure they don't want the whole script out there before the episode comes out, but we'll focus on primarily our lines. But we'll still be able to ascertain enough context. Because usually how my character interacts, I'm interacting with a very select few because of where we're at in the story of this one. My character has lost his memory, and he's slowly regaining it back. Or so it seems. He's a bad man, but he has some redeeming qualities. So he's fun. He's fun to play. He's very fun to play. How about P, B, and C? P, B, and C. What does that stand for? Peanut butter and chocolate? I'm hoping. That's what I'm guessing. Peanut butter and chocolate. Kind of like a Reese's peanut butter cup, but in ice cream form, and that sounds amazing. Although it could stand for peanut butter and cheese. I'd try it. You know, or peanut butter and cookies. Like a cookies and cream, but like with peanut butter. Maybe the PB is something different. Ooh, I don't know. We'll see here in a second. Yeah, actually I should probably, you know what'd be good is to pull up Pendant Audio and give a little read down about what the show's about to give you more context. The Kingery. Oh, they have is that a new show they have out? I didn't know that. Let me pull it over here so it's not all awkward. All right. All right. The story is definitely taken a turn since this was written, but yes. Okay, peanut butter and chocolate. All right. I guessed right the first time. All right. So the Kingery, which Papa Arkell is a character in, is called. The full name is the Kingery Road Resort and Casino. To give you a little bit of context there, just by the name. At least it starts off this way. Welcome to the Kingery Road Resort and Casino, the galaxy's premier vacation destination. Stop by the casino, take a stroll down to Shenanigans, or visit the famous Saley, Onks, and Lytle for a trip you'll never forget. Just watch your step, because if you cross the boss, the Kingery will chew you up and spit you out, a broken shell of what you once were. This is a full cast, serial, ongoing sci-fi crime drama. And it is very dramatic. It's photo drama. And it is a lot of fun. A lot of very interesting characters, and they do almost every single one of them is a growing character. None of them are flat at all. Very interesting, and the cast has been pretty darn consistent this whole time. I think my character is one of the only ones that was played by a different person. It was played by, I think season 1 and 2 was played by a different person before I came on. I think just 1 and 2. But I've been doing it basically ever since. And I think the cast, has been fairly consistent. Some of the show writers are some of the main characters, so that probably helps too, with the vested interest there. And it's one that I do for free. I just volunteer my time for this particular show. So when I first started off wanting to get into voice acting, this is one of the shows that I started with. And I enjoy it, so I stick around and I keep doing this. And it gives me an opportunity to kind of keep voice acting a little bit, keep those chops going, if you will. And I'd feel really bad like going at this point. This has been years, so I can't leave now, right? Can't be that guy unless they kill me. Unless they kill my character, which technically has not happened once. Listen to the show to figure that one out. But anyways, I'm gonna add PB and C to the list of ice cream on our break, and we're gonna go on a quick break here. Crank up the music for just a little bit. I'll try to keep it down to about as much time as it takes me to make another cup of tea. And then we'll be back. All right. See you then. Don't go anywhere or go somewhere. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But I'll be back. 5 minutes. Hopefully. See you then. Bye. For now. I'll be back. All right. Tea. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah. Yeah. It's not Whiskey Wednesday, but I forgot to change out the transition. It's not that. We did have whiskey earlier, well, bourbon, but you know. I'm back though. I'm back. Got that hot tea. It's gonna be good. It's a blood orange cinnamon black tea. Ooh. Surprisingly, it's pretty good. I like how like a lot of tea, well, not a lot, but some teas like they'll be very aromatic, and you're like, oh man, that smells amazing. Then you taste it, you're like, it doesn't taste like that though. It tastes good, but not like that. But this pretty much tastes like it smells. Like you get the orangey and the cinnamon. It's really good. I love it. Very soothing to the throat. Yes. Oh, and I gotta add the forgot to add it. I was gonna add it real quick and I forgot. Gotta add the PB and C ice cream flavors. Boom. It's Whiskey Wednesday somewhere. Yeah, exactly, right? I need to do a Bluetooth thing because this double headset thing is ridiculous, but whatever. We're going to need it here in a second. Ice cream flavors. All right. So, once again, we're going to step into the booth and do some Papa Arkell, right? So, let's, let me see here. Let me pull up, actually, before I go over there, because it's easier to search here. Papa. So we have those lines highlighted for our cell. No results found. Arca. They said I was in this one, right? Oh, is it not doing the text conversion? That's unfortunate. All right, let me scroll through it here real quick. Find those lines. Actually, I can just show you what I'm doing so it's not staring at my face. There we go. Sounds delicious. It is very delicious. Very good. Blah, 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 blah. Actually, I just remembered I shouldn't show you the whole script. So let me find those lines real quick, then we'll just step into the booth. I don't know why my search... Oh, there it is. Okay. Entrance into Papa Arkell's place. Why wasn't that coming up on Find Text? Is anything coming up on Find Text? Oh. Ugh. No, okay. Yeah, so the whole conversion thing isn't working. Why is that not working? Doesn't matter. I can scroll and find it. Easy enough. Okay, so I think my first lines are here at 123. Okay. Okay. All right, let's... OBS is still active. No, I don't want to exit. I think I hit that button by accident. Okay. Let's go into the booth. I'll see you guys there with my tea. And my water. I gotta take my water. In case I need some of that water right there. Might be parched. Yeah, there. You know, you know. You know, you know. All right. I didn't think about that. You can go up here for now. You can go in my little cup holder. Yay. You. I didn't think about this. I'm gonna do with you? On the floor. I'll be right back. Going down below. Yep. All right. It's a little cramped in this booth. I am going to upgrade though here, maybe in a couple months, to a Studio Bricks booth, which will be nice. And that'll help a lot with hopefully sound rejection from the outside. It's not going to help with the airplanes and the trains, but it'll help with all the other stuff, which will be nice. All right, let's get into it, shall we? Oh yeah, how does that look? Oh, yeah, you can see it. Okay, cool. All right, let's go. We are going to record this time, though. So, I'm going to set that up real quick. I'm using Studio One. I might, you have to figure out how I can share. I might actually redo the stream setup in general. Cut out this whole double PC thing for when I'm streaming. And just run it all off of the desktop computer instead of trying to work in the laptop, because it makes it more complicated unnecessarily. So, let me set this up. I'm using Studio One for this. Set up a new folder. Primo. Yeah, I like Studio One. I've used like damn near every tool. I really like Adobe Audition, but I've used Reaper primarily for music, although I've done some voice work in it just to kind of figure it out. I've used Audacity, the free version. I've used Pro Tools back in the day, but that was almost exclusively music. And that was quite an old version by now. It probably looks completely different. I know it looks completely different. And then, yeah, my newest one is Studio One, only because Don Barnes, I think that's his name. Let me go on a limb and say, yeah, that's his name. Has a course on it and a macro bar set up that does a lot of really cool things. And really the feature that kind of pulled me over to Studio One is the record kind of a head feature. So before, when I'm doing punch and roll, before I've hit record, it's actually recording a little bit, kind of like on a constant buffer. Because I've run into where there's a little bit of latency, I've run into the problem where like I'll hit the button, but it actually doesn't start recording for a little bit in because of the pre-roll, and I'll time the pre-roll wrong and start speaking before it actually picks up the recording, and it cuts me off, right? Because it started like halfway through my first word, and then usually you got to go back and re-record the damn thing. Well, with Studio One, since it has that buffering built into it, I can just take the little bar of the recording, slide it over, and there's the first part of my word, because it actually was recording up to 5 seconds before, or 10 seconds before, or whatever you want to set it to. I think by default it's 5 seconds, but that's long enough. But I think you can set it to like, yeah, 10 or 15 seconds or something. But it saves so many retakes, because it'd be like, slide over, yay! You know? That one feature alone is kind of what sold me and moved me over. And then the macro bar was a help too, right? So, anyways, let me set up this folder. Okay, we're gonna call this one Papa Arkell, because that's the character's name. Okay. All right. I'm actually gonna turn down the music a little bit for this one, because I don't want it to bleed through and pick it up. So be right back. Hit my head. All right. Yeah. Tiny booth. Tiny, tiny booth. All right. We're going to stop here at Allison asking for her dad. Me. Papa Arkel. Test, 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 test. Okay, cool. That's recording. We're able to record, I guess. Oh, camera got all messed up. Hey, buddy. Right here. Hi. It like flipped up to the ceiling for some reason. I think it's back on me, though. Da, da, da. Okay. Let's record some lines, shall we? And then 3 versions of each one. I'll try to give slightly different inflections if it makes sense, or just another take of the same one in case it's fudged for some reason and I don't hear it. Here we go. I got to turn off that air conditioner behind me. Hold on. I'll be right back. I'm sorry. Be right back. Okay. That was making the noise floor way too high. You guys probably don't hear it, but it would just be nothing but like... That's what happened to the camera. As I stepped out of the booth, it was looking for my face, so it just went straight up. All right. Okay. Here we go. Grab this thing here. And then this one I'm probably not going to do. And punch and roll, I'm just going to straight across because I'll cut it all out myself later because they want each one of these in its own file with the takes, 3 takes in one file per line. If that makes sense. Here we go. Hey, there's my girl. Where have you been keeping yourself? Hey, there's my girl. Where have you been keeping yourself? Hey, there's my girl. Where have you been keeping yourself? Have you seen your sister? I tried calling her, but didn't get an answer. Have you seen your sister? I tried calling her, but didn't get an answer. Have you seen your sister? I tried calling her, but I didn't get an answer. And there's a car driving by right now. So we're going to have to wait. It's almost 10 o'clock at night. Go home. Stop having a life on Friday night. Like some of us in booths. Recording lines. Come on now. Priorities. It's a neighbor. They're getting out of their car. I can hear the doors opening and closing. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. Probably not. But because I have the noise gate on and the filter. All right, I think they're done now. Let's try this again. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. No, don't lock the iPad. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Of the life? Of the life? Of the life? Well, it wasn't like it is now. It used to be you were in for life. I had to make your mother think I was dead to get away. I wish I could have taken you. Well, it wasn't like it is now. Used to be you were in for life. I had to make your mother think I was dead to get away. I wish I could have taken you. Well, it wasn't like it is now. Used to be you were in for life. I had to make your mother think I was dead to get away. I wish I could have taken you. I guess I knew the first time I saw Sylvia pull the trigger on someone. That made it all pretty clear. Why do you ask? I guess I knew the first time I saw Sylvia pull the trigger on someone. That made it all pretty clear. Why do you ask? Well, I guess I knew the first time I saw Sylvia pull the trigger on someone. That made it all pretty clear. Why do you ask? You don't say. You don't say. You don't say. Everything changes, kid. I'm not the same person I was when I left. It's for sure. Even if you don't count the alien parasite that was living inside me. The question you have to ask yourself is, how much am I willing to change? How much am I willing to sacrifice in order to get to that happy ending? Everything changes, kid. I'm not the same person I was when I left, that's for sure. Even if you don't count the alien parasite that was living inside me. The question you have to ask yourself is, how much am I willing to change? How much am I willing to sacrifice in order to get that happy ending? Everything changes, kid. I'm not the same person I was when I left, that's for sure. Even if you don't count the alien parasite that was living inside me. The question you have to ask yourself is, how much am I willing to change? How much am I willing to sacrifice in order to get that happy ending? There's always got to be sacrifice, one way or another. There's always got to be sacrifice, one way or another. There's always got to be sacrifice, one way or another. I'm honestly not sure. I'm honestly not sure. I'm honestly not sure. Is she okay? Is she okay? Is she okay? All right, there's the first part of it, and we'll see if maybe this... Oh no, I'm at the end of the episode. That was it. It was it. We're done. We're done. That was a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be. A pretty short scene. And, you know, like I said, my character Papa Arkell there, who is the father to Allison, and one more character, I won't spoil that. Yeah, had some kind of memory issues. He was part of this whole cartel thing, and his wife Sylvia is like, he's the devil. And it's this whole thing where he abandoned his kids because he had to get out, and, you know, he has all this regret now, and he's kind of slowly coming back to those memories and experiencing kind of that regret. So that's, you know, but that doesn't make him necessarily a super good man still. I mean, he's done some stuff. So there's that. But he's interesting to play. He's definitely a bad guy, but I'm thinking maybe, and we'll see, maybe he's becoming maybe one of the good guys. Okay, I doubt it. I don't know. I have a hard time believing that he's actually lost his memory for real, and he's really gaining these memories back, and he's just going to become a good guy now. I think he's playing at something, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. I have no idea. I get kind of the scripts as they come out too, so I have no kind of glimpse into what the character is going to be any more than anybody listening to the show really would. But this was interesting. I wonder what they're setting up there, and it looks like Home Dizzle is in trouble, so we're probably going there next. We'll see. Well, Guess we're going to stop in on cast next time. We'll see. But highly encourage you to check out the show. It's pendantaudio.com. And the show is called The Kingery. Really good show. And it's got at least, 9 seasons now? I think there's 9 seasons of the show. So we just got back from the big break. They always take a break right at the end of one of the seasons for a little while. Give them time to, complete writing and all that kind of stuff. And give you a little break in between. So, but this character is a lot of fun. I like playing characters that are the bad guys sometimes. It's just fun to get out there and play something you're not, because that's what it's about, acting, right? So, anyways, that was short and sweet. Pretty cool. And maybe we'll go back and, I don't know, if you guys want to see some editing, I guess I could do that, or we could just talk for a little bit, bullshite, as it were, and sip on our teas. At least I will. But in any case, we're gonna go back there. Okay. How do I do that? Just kidding. Is that what I wanted? I think I wanted that one. Hey, Mama Rednecks, how's it going? Hey, you finally caught me in the stream. That's right, you did. I'm gonna go back to the desk so you can see me. Hold on, I'll be right back. As promised, here I am. It's a long jaunt from the booth to the desk. It's really not. But I'm slow. So it takes me a while. But no, nice seeing you. Nice to catch up with you on stream. I see you everywhere, and like everybody's stream. But yeah. Nice to see you in the stream and say hi. You caught me right here at the tail end. So tonight we did a long session of prepping for an audition for an audiobook. Kind of did a cold read and figured out and did some like live research and formulating about what I'm going to do for the audition. And I've got some more research to do kind of off stream for that one. I want to kind of listen through the very first audiobook of it and go from there. So, and then we transition into doing the lines for this audio drama called The Kingery from pendantaudio.com. They have lots of shows. But this one is, I play a character called Papa Arkell, and it's a recurring character. He's a ex-cartel member that abandoned his kids, tried to come back onto the scene, lost his memory because of some things and a parasite and all this drama that ensues. It's a good show, but he's trying to kind of get in contact with his kids again and start that up. But I think he has an ulterior motive because he's Papa Arkell. Don't believe the nice guy thing. He's not a nice guy, but maybe he is. I don't know. Like I was saying kind of earlier, I have no insight into the character past what everybody else does, right? I try to get everywhere, especially this month. Yeah, you've been making it around. I think it's the October thing is really kind of ramping it up for everybody and making sure that they're focusing and getting those pomodoros done, right? And their writing streams and everything. So it's really cool. I like it. And I'm meeting lots of writers, and I love this new category. And I'm reading some audiobook narrators and people that like to read too. And it's fantastic. I love it. Hearthside Gaming, if he's still here, is also a narrator, and he has a Twitch stream here too. I think he's one of the first ones I met on here, actually, in terms of audiobook narrator, voice actor, if you were, or if you will. But yeah, check out his stream. It's really good too. He does. I've seen him on Wednesdays a lot, kind of more towards my morning time and United States Pacific Standard Time. But I'm not sure. I'd have to look at his schedule. But check him out, anyways. Shoot him a follow. He's a good narrator as well. Much more experienced than me. But yeah, nice to see you. And if you haven't commented yet, we're taking a poll on what your favorite ice cream flavor is. So you gotta let us know, because I'm curious if there's a common denominator. We've already gotten different flavors from everybody so far, so I'm interested to see. If you type in exclamation point lowercase ff and hit enter, you can see all the ones that we've captured so far. Mine's the butterscotch. It's my favorite. Oh, there's the last of the tea. But why is the tea gone? But yeah, kind of a fun stream tonight too. Like I've got some questions about the audiobook that I have to follow up with the author on, because I'm not quite sure if I want to do it based on some things, but we'll see. We'll see. I definitely got like an abridged version where it's all pieced together. So I'm guessing maybe that's where some of it came from. Some confusion on who's saying what. And that could just be me too. I don't know. But I couldn't figure it out. So, yes, I love that we have all the different stages now in this category, because it takes a lot of behind the scenes for getting out the things we love to read. Absolutely. My only brush with the writing side of it, I tried a NaNoWriMo once. The thing that they do, I'm sure you know, the writing contest with yourself that you're doing in November. I guess there's been a lot of drama around NaNoWriMo. I guess they're trying to pull some interesting stuff, I guess. I don't know the full story behind it, so I don't want to say too much because I don't really know. But I know there was some kind of drama that went around it, so a lot of people are doing Authtober in place of NaNoWriMo that's normally in November. But I tried it at least once, tried that whole writing thing, and figured out that I suck at writing. It is a skill, even though I read a lot. That doesn't directly translate directly into writing what you want, getting the ideas out of your head and on paper. There's definitely a skill to that, and it requires a lot of work. My eyes were open to it. Like, I could do this writing thing. Way too overconfident. Like, no, I need a lot more practice. This is not as easy as it looks. Because, you read something, you're like, how hard could that be? Real hard, turns out. So much respect to my writer friends out there. Yeah, I got about halfway through and went, I can't even stand my own writing. This has got to stop. I need to get some lessons or practice at this hardcore before I ever try to do this again. Woo! I know first drafts are rough, but this was bad. I know bad writing when I see it. That was bad writing. Not good. Okay. Oh yeah, mine is mint chocolate chip or cookie dough. Okay. I can't really pick between the two. It's usually a seasonal because I love Girl Scout cookies. Oh, mama. Girl Scout cookies. Thin Mints are my favorite. Do you put them in the freezer? I like putting the Thin Mints in the freezer. I mean, I don't eat them a lot anymore, but that was my jam. Like, I like the Samoas too. They're called something different now in California. I can't remember. Everywhere else they're called Samoas, I think, but I can't remember what they call them now. Something Delights, maybe? Coconut Delights, maybe? I don't know, but I liked those, and then Thin Mints. You put them in the freezer, and they got that crisp and the mint and the, Girl Scout cookies. The lemon ones are pretty good, too. I think it's probably like my third favorite, if you will. Not everyone can weave a story. This is true. Well, in my day job, I make book covers, so I had the same mentality. Oh, I could do that. It's eye-opening, isn't it? It's eye-opening. You make book covers. Do you draw them out, or are you physically making the book covers? I would imagine. I envision you drawing them, but then I'm like, well, maybe you make them, or maybe you do both. I don't know. Yes, and tag-alongs in the freezer are way better. Oh, you're speaking my language. Now I'm really, really hungry. Sounds good right now as a Reese's peanut butter cup. Oh, it's like my favorite candy. Anyways, before I forget, let me add. Well, I guess I have to add both. Because we can't. If you can't choose, then they both go on there. So mint chocolate chip and cookie dough. All right, I'm going to add them to the list. I'm going to do it now because I'm going to forget. Okay, mint chocolate chip and what do we say? Cookie dough. Cookie dough. Boom. Both very good flavors. Now, do you prefer it on a cone, sugar waffle, or just in the cup? Or doesn't really matter? Doesn't really matter to me, I guess. But all right, now it's updated. I photo manipulate covers. Oh, okay. Okay. So you like adjusting them and putting them. That's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever met anybody that does that. That is awesome. That is awesome. Boop. Speaking of book covers, before I forget to do this, because I always do, check out Delilah Monroe. She is also an artist who does book covers. She's on the illustration side of it, though, and amongst other digital art kinds of things. And I wanted to feature her on this stream to give her kind of an extra little bump there. I like to, on Wednesdays, do a Whiskey Wednesday thing where I read authors' first chapters for free. And I also feature an artist for free that does digital art and book covers, things like that. Try to help bring the two communities together. So check out her stuff. Super talented. And yeah, get some commission work or just look at her Instagram stuff because it's really cool. It's really cool. She's very talented. Doesn't matter to me either. This is a character I made and then decided I was going to write it. Okay. All right. How do you say it? Is it Saith or Sathi or Sathi or something different? I've been having a good time with pronunciations tonight, and that's anybody that was here can tell you that it's been a little rough. A little rough. I've had to look up some things just to make sure, and some words that I've never seen before. I still can't remember. Teletesai? Nah, I'd have to look at it again. But apparently in Hebrew it meant it is finished, and it was the name of a sword, which, if using that effectively, I guess it would be finished. So appropriate name, I guess. But yeah. Oh, and what was the other one? It was raucous. Raucous was the correct pronunciation of the word that I learned tonight. I was going to say raucous, but it's raucous. 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 I knew what it meant. I just wasn't 100% on how to say it. And I would have said it wrong, to be fair. And there's this guy on YouTube. Whenever I look up like pronunciations on YouTube, it's always the same guy that's pronouncing all these words I don't know how to say. He's got I want to say it's like a French accent is what it sounds like to me. I could be wrong, but it's always the same guy. When I pull up his videos, it makes me laugh. You got it. Seth with an A. Seth. Oh. Saith. Saith. Okay, yeah. I assumed because of the E, it made the A say its name. But you never know, because English be like that, yo, because we pull from all kinds of different languages to make ours, it seems. We don't always follow a strict rule, you know. It's I before the E, except after C. Yeah, except if you're spelling the weird word weird, because then the I is after the E. But it does, yeah. Follow the... No, it doesn't, because it's weird. Yeah. English. Love it. If you're familiar with the guy, the comedian Gallagher, he has a funny little bit about words and how the spellings don't necessarily line up, and it's good. And then at the end, if he didn't really like that, he smashes a watermelon. So there's that. Gallagher. Look him up. He's funny. Or was funny. Is Gallagher still alive? Ugh, I don't even know. Not sure. I always include a glossary as I'm writing because even I forget what I thought. That is funny. So I'm reading a sci-fi book right now, and it's the first book in a 6-part series. And as part of the sci-fi world, it's kind of a cross between. I know I'm going to mix these things, and it should be a dirty word, mixing them together. I realize, forgive me in advance, but it really is a good explanation of it. It's like Star Wars and Star Trek meet in the middle, and then it's kind of crossed with Hawaii Five-0 in there a little bit. It's like a space opera police force. Anyways, but as part of, the world building that goes on with it, which you would probably understand way better than me, the author made up her own alien kind of language or pronunciations, I guess, to go along with all the different worlds and, names of spaceships and, the characters themselves having some interesting names. But I had to have her right before we went into it. I'm like, hey, if there's anything that is not a normal word, like if it's a word that you made up, right, that's unique to your world, do me a favor and write that down and give me a little recording of you saying it. And then however you say it is how I will say it. And then that, for me, avoids a lot of, how do I say this? And then saying it wrong. And then I turn in the 25-hour-long audiobook and I got to go back and sort through all the times I said that word wrong. Because I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. The first book's 25 hours. I don't want to do that. It's a long time. I need to get through editing this weekend. And I don't know if that's going to happen. But I'll probably be done by at least next weekend. But that'll be out soon. I'll make announcements about that when it's out. But yeah, that's the food for thought. If you're ever working with an audiobook narrator or you're going to narrate a book yourself, from somebody else's work that you didn't write, highly recommend that. Have them give you a recording of, or give them a recording of, all the special words. Like if it's something that's like, even in a foreign language, we can look that up and figure out how to say it. But if it's something unique to your world, it saves so much time and a lot of back and forth. And then, that whole problem at the end, right? Where you're like, I've got 8 million pickups to do. And you don't want to be there. I said at the one point in the booth, and I kept forgetting to grab it when I came back here, but that I had a book that I highly recommend that you pick up if you're going to do any kind of narration, and it's called Accents and Dialects for Stage and Screen. It's really good. This one's the really in-depth one that I recommend, and it uses what's called the International Phonetic Alphabet. And it's something that I had to learn and figure out what all the symbols meant. But it's a good way of figuring out how to use or how to say things in different accents, from British to Welsh to Irish to Scottish to Jamaican, which I had to learn for the sci-fi book. Because as part of the story, they get kind of like Star Trek, where there's that universal translator thing, right? They have these little things that go in the back of their brainstem, and it translates all the language of whomever is speaking into your native language. But they also, the little nanobots, try to make it, whatever they're saying, sound familiar to you as well. So a lot of the aliens to the human, where the story is told from the human's point of view, hears a familiar accent, because that's what the little nanobugs are doing. So in this particular case, the character, the person, has a Jamaican accent. And at first the author was like, well, it might not be that important to do a dead-on Jamaican accent. But in the second book, they go to her home planet. So they're all from the same area. And I'm like, Jamaican accent it is. All right. And it made it easier. So I highly recommend Accents and Dialects for Stage and Screen. Now, it doesn't have all of them, but if you're looking for something a little bit more lightweight, I have another recommendation. This one's really good. And a dialect coach that I know recommended it. Stage Dialects by, got to figure out what screen it is because it's all reversed, by Jerry Blunt. Really good one too, but it's a shorter one, but it's really good too. And it has a lot of different accents that are packed in here, but are more, I don't know if common's the right word, but a lot of, I would say common, like your French, Scottish, Irish, like your major big ones, German, Cockney, RP, Italian, just all kinds of accents that are more prominent, I guess, in Stage and Screen, I guess would be a good way to put it. But it's a really good book too. And it has a lot of like history in where certain parts of the accent came from and gives you kind of a greater kind of context to why they're forming vowels or consonant sounds in a certain way. And if your brain works like mine, sometimes I have to know that extra context, even if it has nothing to do with what it's about. Like the more that I know about it, the easier it is to do that thing, especially if it's like a physical like thing. Anyways, highly recommend those 2 books. Pick them up if you're getting into that stuff. It's worth the money in my opinion, and saves you a whole bunch of time and having to redo some stuff because it doesn't sound quite right. Yeah, pick those up. But anyways, taking notes because I have the same kind of tech with Safe. Ooh, I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, she did like an alphabet thing too, right? The etymology probably too. Yeah, definitely the etymology on most of them. So, Jake's delivery service. Hello, first time chatter. So, if you're here at first, and if you'd like to, sometimes it's a controversial topic, but share your favorite ice cream flavor because we're taking a poll. We've got these flavors so far. First one is my favorite. It's butterscotch because butterscotch rules. But those are the ones that we have so far, so we can add yours to the list if you want. Let us know what your favorite flavor is. But yeah, so she made like a little alphabet to go along with it to kind of help me with some of the pronunciations, and she simplified it down in a way that anything with an accent mark would be said a certain way, and then anything that did not have the accent mark will always be said this way, right? So like all of the vowel sounds that don't have the accent mark will always be the first form of the short form of the vowel, right? If it has an accent mark, it will always be the long form of the vowel. And then that way, the alien word, when you look at it with all the accent marks or not accent marks, I know how to kind of say that alien word. Some of them differed from that. So having her record it and give it to me was super valuable. That and like when you're trying to read it and then you're second guessing yourself, like, am I reading that right? It's just nice to have that extra assurance of like, play the audio file of her saying the word. Okay, I'm saying it right. Or nope, I would have said that wrong. You know, it saves you a little bit of time in the end, right? And highly recommend it. I offer delivery services. Are you in the need for deliveries? Well, not right now, but that's good to know, Jake. What kind of things do you deliver? Now I'm curious because it's Jake's delivery service. What kind of things do you deliver? Ice cream by chance? That would be cool. So we're going to kind of wrap up, I think, the stream here. Because there's not really much to go over in terms of voice acting and narration for today. We've kind of run our course there. But in the future, I think I'm going to ramp up the streaming just a little bit. I have some projects that I want to work on that'll give me kind of more stuff to stream in front of you. I have a public domain project that I'm working on. That I'd like to hash out a little bit and work on. And maybe you would enjoy listening to that too and seeing me work on that. It's going to be Mark Twain and his contemporaries. And I'm kind of putting together a little short story about 5 to 8 hours long, probably closer to 5. We'll see, depending on the short stories I decide to include in the end. But I'm going to go through that process of putting them all together, getting them up on Audible and ACX and doing the audiobook for it, because I think that'd be kind of fun. We provide our own stamps, so there's no delivery cost. Okay, did I miss? Okay, well, that's good. That's good. Provide your own stamps. Everything good, sir? Ice cream melts. This is difficult. Right? Yeah, you gotta have a little bit of cooling in there, right? Right, you can brainificate. I love that. You can brainificate the right way to say. Break it down like my October book is Greek based. Ooh, that's cool. I actually know not a darn thing about the Greek language. I couldn't even tell you. I probably have. I couldn't even tell you if I've heard like native Greek language. I probably have. I probably have. And just didn't know it, right? Well, thanks for your time. Have a great day, sir. You too, Jake. You have a great day as well. Thanks for stopping by. And thanks for chatting. Appreciate it. I'm so into hearing your project. That's exciting. Oh, cool. Well, awesome. Well, I'll have one interested party. There you go. That's where you start. No, I think it'll be cool because I'm going to do it for Mark Twain and his contemporaries, and the stories that I think I'm going to use are kind of complementary to each other, in that one will be kind of light and humorous, and another one will be a little serious. But all of them will be contemplating. No, they've already contemplated that. All of them will be around the context of living in that time period. One of them is a pretty good kind of funny look at a different living style. I'll keep it for now. No spoilers, right? But I think it'll be fun. So I'm going to go through kind of that process too, where I'm technically going to write it. I'm not really writing anything. I'm just kind of putting it all together into one kind of short story thing, with basically the intent to put the audiobook out there. There's also another program. I think it's called, is it LibriVox? I could be wrong. But it's an organization you can volunteer recordings of books for those that are sight impaired, so that they have some audiobooks to listen to. So you just kind of volunteer your time and record an audiobook and put that up there. So I think that'd be kind of a cool project. There's also another narrator that I know that has put together this project where she does kind of the same thing, but for local papers in the Seattle area. I'm originally from Seattle. So I was like, oh, that'd be super interesting. Like, and I get to read kind of stuff that's going on in Seattle, because it's a newspaper and a magazine that's kind of writing articles about things. And then you get to put it out there for all those that are sight impaired. So it's kind of a cool thing there too. So if I'm going to volunteer my time, I would rather do that type of thing, right? So I have some of those maybe lined up that I could do as well for the stream. And anything else that I guess I find interesting. But as far as the schedule goes, I'll have to come out with that here in a little bit, because I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do that. I know Wednesdays are going to stay around the Whiskey Wednesdays, the first chapter narrations for authors. And then on Fridays, with the exception of a couple coming up, I'll probably do another stream. But as far as the remainder of the schedule for all that other stuff, maybe I'll limit to those two. Maybe it'll be more. I don't know. I'll get back to you, I promise. It'll be out in the social medias and stuff, and eventually I'll post it down here on the Twitch schedule as well. Anyways, thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight and listening to me stumble through some auditions at a cold read and doing some lines for an audio drama. It was fun, and I hope you had fun, and I hope that I see you next time. I wish you all a very good night, and I'll talk to you guys next time. So take care. Have a good night. Bye. All right, gotta raid someone, though. We gotta raid someone, and this time I won't send you to an empty channel, I promise. I'll actually raid somebody that's here. So let me look for that real quick here. Pull up. Where'd my Twitch go? I closed my Twitch for some reason. I don't know why I did that.